Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you, they was blocking the shine. Now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. It is another day in this hot heat. Hope everybody is staying cool and dehydrated. Because, y'all don't want them problems guaranteed. But thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of TK's Chronicles of a Black Sheep. I am TK the Black Sheep. Tonight, we hope that we have a very good show for you. I think it's going to be awesome, as many are. I think it will be informative. And, of course, as always, hit us up in the comments. If you have a comment, a question, or anything along those tops, along that topic or whatever, but we will go ahead and get it started tonight. We'll bring on everybody that's on the panel for tonight and get this kicked off. So first, we're gonna play Russian roulette. Who's gonna be first tonight? I'll bring on trouble. Of course, my co-host, we got DA.
What it do? What it be? What it is?
Yeah, he ain't hiding out tonight.
Nah, well, I kind of am. I'm in an undisclosed location. You know what I'm saying? You know how I do. It do look like I'm in. Well, I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it.
I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to behave tonight. I ain't gonna let you take me out of my character tonight.
You ain't behaving. You ain't behaving. Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
I'm behaving. I
All right.
I ain't gonna let the devil use me.
Let him use it.
Okay, here we go. All right, next. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna call him our honorary co-host because he remind me of the little Jill Scott song. The Jill Scott song. When we call, he comes. So here we go with Marcellus in the building for tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm here in this hot Texas, so I'm thirst trapping all day.
Thirst trapping.
Yep, I've had on basketball shorts and going up to old women all day. I've been enjoying myself.
Oh God! Oh Jesus! Yeah, woo! Fix it, Jesus. Next we got the co-host that has fallen from the. I don't even think she made it to heaven because she
has all that
earth
from grace.
Don't do me like that.
Nino Brown.
I found 2 things wrong with this. For one, why I gotta go behind Marcellus? Because he be cutting up. So before I do my introduction, why you messing with them old ladies? You trying to get you some inheritance money?
It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, they can't take it with them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's happening.
Who am I to deny them a little fantasy?
And this is why I'm Nika Pinks. Halo, because they don't act right. Somebody got to be here to, bless it. I will.
Oh Lord.
Last time you blessed something, you blessed it with vodka. So don't even try.
Proceed.
Oh.
I'm like,
okay.
You sure you want me to go behind you?
No, this was good. My bad.
So tonight, our guest of, I ain't gonna even say the hour because we be on here for hours and hours and hours. I really do hate that song. By the
I
way,
do too. I was hoping
hate
you
that
wouldn't do that.
Man,
I don't
I
even
hate
know what
that.
song y'all talking about. So,
They play it all the time.
Yeah, too much on TikTok. It's on there. I'm so sick of that song. It wasn't that good to me anyway. But hey, that's my opinion. But I didn't like it. So tonight, our guest, I actually met him on TikTok. You know, and that night I can't sleep, and the lives be on and popping, and I popped on to his live and listened, and I love his vibe. I love his music too, because he was vibing with some old school. We was hauling oats in one night, boy. We was on. I was like, man, jamming. That didn't help me go to sleep, but I was jamming. But everything about his live was welcoming. And I know we done been on some lives and people's other podcasts, and you don't get that welcoming feeling. You know, it was high vibrational. So I was like, oh, let me go and stay here. Had conversation before we even got off TikTok. I'm like, say, we need to collaborate. Let's do it. So I'm gonna say that in a week and a half later, here we are. So
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce y'all to Drake with Everything Culture Podcast.
Okay.
that ain't the light skinned Drake either. So,
Thank you for that clarification. I am the darker version, but greetings everyone. I am Drake of Mr. D713 with Everything Culture. Like not thing, we everything culture. Podcast for all cultures, podcast with a purpose. I'll make sure that we've been doing this for 3 years. You know, I started with a team of 4, now it's a team of me. But, you know, steady growing, still trying to learn more about people, backgrounds, traditions, social norms, beliefs. Our mission statement comes from the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that is he believed that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other, and they don't know each other because of segregation. And because of segregation, we have miscommunication. So create a podcast on the pillars of respect, communication, and consistency so we can get to know each other so we can love one another.
I told you he was a bishop on the cover.
Hey,
I
you know,
love it. I'm telling
you. Got to sneak that Jesus in left all different type of ways.
Okay. That's how you do an intro right there. That's how you do an intro.
Yeah, that's an intro. That's what's
we
up.
Love it.
That I love that, man. That's what's up. Yes. Before we get kicked off, Pinks, you want to go ahead and do your extension?
Oh, I forgot. I totally forgot trying to get it started with these two. So before we get into it, we just want to shout out our sponsors, Simply Wisdom Inc. and ML Henson Multimedia. Back to you, TK.
Yes. So, of course, ML, you already know what he does for the show. He does the intros, the outros, the photos. He do it all. So yeah, and if you're needing assistance, nonprofit will be Simply Wisdom Inc. So yeah, so as we are gonna go ahead and get started, tonight's topic we came up with because we kind of struggled a little bit. We kind of struggled with the topic, but we came up with the forgotten for tonight. Yeah. I got my hat on so I can just drop my head. So,
yeah,
I'm a G. So, yeah. Shut up. Don't you say nothing. Anyway.
That G stand for gon' cry.
You know what?
I ain't even going to act like I'm not. I'm just like, okay, let it rain. I'm just going to let it.
All right, Mary J.
Y'all know I be crying anyway, so I'm just like, I'm holding it together.
11 years.
I already knew it was coming.
Something wrong with y'all. So y'all.
You ready? You shotgun ready?
You know I'm ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So when we talk about the forgotten, who are we talking about? Like,
you want me to bust it down for you?
Yeah, go ahead and break it down.
I believe children of our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. There you go. That's how you're gonna get today. They're gonna be it.
You sounded like Whitney on
There
her.
you go.
No, anyway,
Right there.
so we talking about the cheering.
The cheering.
The cheering.
Talk about the cheering tonight.
Sure.
The cheering.
So
Yeah,
what about them?
children.
Like,
Drake, you need to give your disclosure before we get
oh yes.
No problem. So I'll share my resume with everyone quickly, then give the disclaimer. But once again, Drake and my previous career experience and lived experience, I was taken in by aunt in 8th grade. My mother was a victim of substance abuse and mental disorders, things of that nature. So I was actually taken in by family. Mother ended up passing away at the age of when I was 15. But then I went to college, majored in psychology, graduated from Tyler Junior College, then graduated from University of Houston, bachelor's. Started working for the state of Texas. I was there as a conservatorship 2 worker for 2 years. Then I worked at an organization by the name of Child Advocates, better known as CASA in certain areas, court-appointed special advocates. Okay. I worked as a guardian ad litem for 3 years there. Then I went into the more outreach sector, working as a trainer, where I did trainer recruitment and retention, but I trained about culture diversity, trained about writing court reports. Basically, I trained trainers to do so. Throughout those communications of my 10 years in that, now I'm a volunteer. I've been trained as a foster parent. I'm no longer a foster parent. I've taken in a family member for a short period of time myself. And I've been a mentor through the Hay Center and numerous other factors from my church through other places, just mentoring young men for, about 7-8 years now. So I have a very close impact or affinity for community and helping others. That's just some of the things I do, but that's just dealing with children right there. But my disclaimer is, these are the opinions of me. I am an individual. I will be sharing some of my experiences and thoughts throughout my experience and seeing things in society and the work I've done. This is not representing the state of anything. This is not representing CASA or Child Advocates. This is representing myself as well as the words of Everything Culture Podcast. But thank y'all.
There you go. Well, you didn't drop some other stuff on me in that. All right. So, I don't even know where I want to start with this one at the moment. Yeah. So one of the things you mentioned was CASA. I'm kind of familiar with them, and we have a big location from us, like located down the street. So, what is the main premise of CASA?
Okay. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. So CASA actually started here in Seattle, Washington. That's the crazy thing about it. I moved to the area and I'm a volunteer here at the original location now. But mainly it was a judge by the name of David Sukup. Judge Sukup was a family law judge working CPS cases. And this is like in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm losing like exact time. I usually have this down pinpoint. But CPS, a lot of people don't know CPS didn't start until like almost the late 70s, 80s. Okay. CPS haven't been around that long. The state of, and there's no federal CPS, by the way. But the thing is, Judge, he was having trouble really getting the best thing for the kids. The attorneys didn't know much. The caseworkers overworked, didn't know much. And he really was having a disconnect with what was going on with the families. Mainly a child came in and a child was, being neglected in foster care. The parents it was a lot of stuff wasn't working out. So he was like, man, something has to break. So he, after he had a court day on a Friday, if you ever been in court, everybody cleared out, the bailiff's still there. And he was talking to his bailiff like, hey, we got to do something different. Do you know anybody, any people that can like step up in the community that's come and help us out, because I need to have exactly what's going on. Like, F all this bureaucracy. I need something that's real. Need somebody that's going to tell me how it is, and so I can have a better understanding. And you're like, oh, guys, see what I can do. And he came back Monday morning. He had a courthouse full of volunteers willing to help out people in the community. So from that organization, it started and it's grown to be a nationwide organization. Some of them are a little different than others. Some of them are very close within the judge with the court. Some work as a absolute individual third party. So when we think of CASA, like the organization I work with, we were serving as the guardian ad litem. Okay. Let me know when I need to stop too, so I can explain some things to folks. So, you have an attorney, your attorney ad litem. Your attorney ad litem usually for with a child or for you represents your wants and your best interests. All right. So with children or people with any type of special needs really can't speak up for their own best interest at times, especially a kid. A kid may say, I want to eat ice cream, Skittles, and watch cartoons until 3 a.m. in the morning. Is that in their best interest? No. But if they tell their attorney that, their attorney is going to be tasked with representing their wants and their needs. So there's going to be a conflict with their attorney ad litem. All right. So when a guardian ad litem is appointed to the case, that role separates from the want. So the attorney ad litem represents solely the wants of the child, whatever that child asks for, and the guardian ad litem represent the best interest of the child. So CASA is there to represent the best interest as for the children in care. So that's summarized there. So we look at certain factors, and it goes state by state really, but best interest. But I know in Texas, especially when it comes down to termination things, they're really based off the Holly factors, which I can Google and show y'all, but all those things, but really it represents what is best for the child. We can hear the child what they want, but we represent what's best for them. What they represent what's best for them. Did I answer a lot of that? And they're volunteers, by the way. This is a volunteer. They do not get paid. Once again, I'm a volunteer now. I do not get paid. I still got my 9 to 5 and what I do in HR, and I volunteer and still go to in detail. I go visit my family once per month, visit all the kids, talk to the parents, talk to the family members. Like I'm like a caseworker between a caseworker and an attorney. So I gather all this information. I write up a court report. I talk to my supervisor, which is paid. Some people are paid at the organization within the nonprofit. But me working as a volunteer, I gather all this information and I go and testify in court and let the judge know, hey, judge, this is our report. This is what we feel is in the best interest at this time for this child or these children. Yeah.
Wow. You just gave a whole lot of gems right there for real. Like a whole lot. Damn.
Well, that's my goal. And that's why I've been putting together the series, because I know we don't know all these things. It's such a disconnect for us. And if I say us, I'm gonna speak not only for society in total, but I'm gonna speak more specifically for Black people. A lot of us, it used to be a joke that every Black man is a paralegal deep down inside of them, what need to be, let's say that. And I think we lost a lot of that. So I'm like trying to educate us, hey, this is how the law works in family law, and especially CPS law. They do not teach CPS law in law school. Okay. You don't know CPS until you become a CPS worker or you become an attorney in CPS and things of that nature. They teach you family law, but they do not teach you anything about CPS. I've had numerous family attorneys or criminal attorneys come in. What the hell is going on? I'm like, yeah, it's a whole different monster.
Well, one of the comments says, I don't understand all the people involved. I can't figure out who is who. Probation officers, court lawyers, court investigators, worker for the children, worker for the family, people who come to inspect the house. It's too many damn people.
Can I take that? I just put on my Amazon wish list a whiteboard or a blackboard that I'm gonna keep behind. I'm gonna take this down and just like try to draw out what things look like. So let me make sure. Y'all mind if I go? Y'all want to answer anything with that?
Yeah, go run it. Shit. Run it.
You dropping. We been informed.
Well, thank y'all having me with the TK Black Sheep Chronicles of TK's Chronicles of a Black Sheep podcast. But everything, Coach, I'm all about informing. So y'all help me keep myself accountable. So
Okay.
I don't know. Should I start at the top? And when I say the top,
So let's do it like this. Let's do it like this.
Perfect.
Let's start from where. First of all, where does it start? Does it start in the courtroom or before the courtroom?
Oh yeah, so let's go all the way back. That's what I say. Let's start with the child. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We just go with one child, but if you have several children, things get a little bit more convoluted. Let me tell you that. All right.
Yeah.
So with the child, that's one. All right. So you have the child. That child before the case. Well, let's start at the investigations. Okay. Well, let's start before the investigation. Let's say a phone call.
Let's say I didn't call and said, say, I believe that something ain't right here. This child come in. We've seen some bruises, some bumps. I believe child
they come in. Look, they see the ribs. They eat well. They smell. Their hairs. They look unkept and things of that nature. Okay. You go if you in Texas, you go call 1-800-252-5400. All right. So after you do that, an investigation, it's going to contact intake, statewide intake, zip code. You can be anonymous. You can even do it like some people suggest you do it online now because you could be on that phone call waiting for some time. But you make the call. They're like, all right, how severe it is. If it's like, oh, just need somebody to go and check on it, I'm worried, or this family's in danger. Okay, you gotta go out now. So you got two different ones. You have a P1 and a P2. Now they recently adjust the P2. What a P1? I apologize. No, I apologize. The P2. So P1, someone must go out within 24 hours and do an investigation. That's investigations, all right. And a P2, someone must go out within 48 to 72 hours. Give me that range right there. So that's within investigations. And I can go all the way back further, but we're going to start here now. So when an investigator goes out, they can say, oh, hopefully they can find the family, all right? And if the family, it's different in every state. A lot of people think, when you see things on TikTok, I see people arguing and being combative. And I'm like, you absolutely have your right. But if they try to see the kids and they're denied, okay, no problem. They can go to court. They ask the judge, hey, we need to see this child, blah, blah, blah. And they can get a court order. When they get that court order, all that shit you talking go out the window. All right. And because that's deeper. I don't like getting police involved and because they don't help things out usually. But when investigations go out, they can go for it and say, okay, well, we don't see anything wrong. These child look fine, the house look fine, the parents look okay, everything. They can rule it out. Boom, they can rule the case out right there. Close, nothing. All right, everything's back to gravy. Just a quick visit. All right, they go out there and they say, hey, we see some things, but they're not that severe. All right, but this family needs some services. All right, maybe the parents been arguing, maybe the mother been stressed. They can provide services to the family without even taking the kids out the house. That could be a recommendation to family-based safety services. That's FBSS. That's one of the departments of the state. So I've touched on investigation. Now that's family-based safety services. They do nothing but just give services, help them sign up for government WIC, food stamps, these people so nice. They be giving them rides and stuff. I don't be giving them. Nah, they really be trying to keep the family together as much as possible. Okay, that's the ideal of the work. All right. Then, okay, they go out. Yes.
Before you move on. So with this family-based safety services, that can only happen once that phone call has been made, or if there's a mom out there that need help, she can be like, y'all help me out.
Yeah, she can call herself.
Okay. And that's pretty much the same type of number, that tip line number you gave us?
Yes. So 1-800-252-5400. That will work.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So the follow-up after that, let's say they go out, CPS, they're doing an investigation. It's still their investigation, okay? And they say, man, something going on, and we need to, let's say, remove the kids. So we need to place the kids with somebody. We need to get them out this house. That don't mean they need to place them in foster care immediately. That mean they just need to get them out the house, get them somewhere safe because they're in danger in this moment. that's when the state of Texas must, if they remove the kids, they must go out and within, let's say, I think 24 business hours, if I'm not mistaken, they must have a court order. So they can remove the kids. Once they're removing the kids, there's still investigations at this moment. When they're removing the kids, they're like, hey, hey, this is an issue right here. We're going to have a problem. Well, hopefully we won't have any problems. Do you have anybody you want to place the kids with at the moment? Hold on one moment. My apologies. But so when they put them behind when they have that issue, well, not the issue, when they go through that process, they're going to ask them, do you have any family members? That should be the first thing to ask. Do you have any family members these kids can go to? Sometimes family members are open. Sometimes family members are like so much like F y'all that it gets to the point that, okay, well, we got to place them in a different placement now, So that's within 24 hours, man, it must go to court. The court must approve of this removal. All right. It's not just CPS just have the leeway to do it. They must get approval. Because the judge can say they're going to have something called a emergency hearing. In an emergency hearing, the judge can say, no, return the kids back to the parents or put them kids back with FBSS. That's what you should do. Those things could happen there. All right. They can even do 60 days out with the 60-day status hearing. So 60 days from the removal, you're going to have another hearing and they could place the kids back with the parents again. But it's like a interim process to make sure how everything's going. But after that 60 days, and if we approve the removal or the permanency, that is temporary permanency or temporary custody. So TMC, temporary management conservatorship, is given to the state. That's usually when the law happen, and that's when conservatorship come into effect. So you have investigations, you have family-based safety services, and now you have conservatorship. But let's say the kids with FBSS. Let's say the parents still set tripping with FBSS. FBSS can ask for to be followed through with a conservatorship case too, kids to be removed as well. And once again, all these things, I just want to make sure the community know that, hey, there are ways the state can provide services. Do I recommend people to call CPS for support? No. But the thing is, do what you can. If you know you have no other thing, your back is against the wall, you ain't got a family and all that, absolutely do what you have to do. But I'm a big community-minded person. You better call your family member that y'all just had an argument about potato salad one time because they said your car was raggedy. You better squash out that dumb shit. All right, seriously, you better get these services. Y'all better that's the thing. I've seen so many messed up situations come from just from people that isolate themselves from family and support, and they really couldn't do it by themselves, raising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. I have had up to 12 kids from one mother before. So when I say this, I am not over exaggerating. So 13 actually, but a case in point. When people lose these services, they lean on the government services. You become, I'm gonna say victim, but you become portrayed to whatever the decisions that come up.
Yeah.
And to follow up with that, also follow it with a church, a mosque, whatever type of belief, what type of social services that you can assess on your own before going to the state. But if you can't, state of Texas or the state of whatever you're in would be the next best thing. I'm trying to think, but if I can keep going. But conservatorship, the case usually lasts a year to a year and a half. That's what they tell you. Sometimes them cases be going on 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Sometimes,
yeah.
And it's really for honesty, because sometimes like they really try to get these kids back to the parent because the state would say and tell you, it's in writing, they do not make the best parent. All right, we don't want your kids. They don't want your kids. As much, they just want to. No, they don't. Like I'm telling you, it's some things that happen. But if once again, it's to the point where I can think things get kind of miscommunicated or not communicated at all. And I can give y'all stories about it, but that's when it becomes stressful. So let me go all the way back. All right. And we got the child. So when that child, so we have an investigative worker, we have a family-based safety service worker. All those workers are going to have supervisors too. You're also going to have the case aide. The case aide is going to people that's going to transport the kids majority of the time. Then you're going to have, let's say you go to conservatorship. Now, when conservatorship get involved, that's when all these people get involved. Okay, that's when you have like, damn, I'm tired of all these people coming to my house because I already had an investigator working in here. I already worked with a family-based safety service worker, and now I got a conservatorship worker. Yes, because shit about to get real. All right. Because usually when they have that, when you go to conservatorship, that means it's a legal case. That means it's a civil case that's been opened, not a criminal case. It's a civil case. And it's the state of Texas versus the mother, because mama's baby, daddy's maybe. All right. So they make sure until they get their DNA. Fellas always get DNA. But when I tell you, but when that case is coming along, that's when the attorneys are going to be appointed during the conservatorship side. Okay. The child will receive an attorney ad litem. The mother will receive an attorney ad litem. The father will receive an attorney ad litem. If the father does not have DNA, or the father's name will locate, or the mother name other men, they're going to have, once again, the father is going to be a father's attorney, and it will be for any dad that you may name, it's going to be an unknown father. Okay, until we get DNA, it's going to be an unknown father attorney, and when they get DNA, that's when we assign that unknown father to that father's name. So, but if she had more children, I've seen up to 5 attorneys on one case representing different daddies. All right. Because they have to represent, could everybody have their own rights? All right. And let me see. And the state will have their attorney. And am I missing anyone else? No. And CASA, we're not usually appointed until after the status hearing, if we're appointed, because every child does not receive a CASA or a child advocate. All right. And once they're appointed, that's a whole nother one. And we don't have an attorney, but we work closely with the attorney ad litem. So even if the attorney ad litem don't agree with the CASA worker about something, they still must go through a request because that's our legal side. But in some CASA areas, they get us to go straight to the court because they have a much closer knit, because they actually are fully court appointed. I know that was a lot, y'all. Everybody want to breathe real quick.
Man, yeah. I didn't know all.
And that's out.
If you get a lawyer, you get a lawyer, like, wow.
And that's outside of CPS.
That's great.
And that's outside of CPS.
Oh, those other attorneys? No,
yeah.
No, see, when the CPS, it's outside of CPS, because CPS just have one attorney.
Right. So they still have to deal with, like, in that situation, it still has to deal with CPS as well.
Yeah, to a sense, absolutely. Because once again, it's the lawsuit. It's the state of Texas versus said parent. And since it's a lawsuit, it's a civil lawsuit, these parents need representation. Just like the children need representation. That's when children's rights go into effect. Because some parents, once again, if y'all look at my TikTok, some of the videos, I got a playlist. Some parents feel like you can beat on their kids all they want to. And literally we say only time they should get involved if they end up, when it's something too severe, if they don't, like they about to die. Literally, this is what somebody was saying, and that's when CPS should get involved. I'm like, it's child protective services. What are you talking about? Exactly. But literally, it's white women having to, like, and I just sit back and let them fight with each other. I ain't got time for that. But it's a lot going on that I try to tell folks. And I tell people, if you ever have the time, if you hear my voice right here, you can go down to the courthouse in your town, go to the Google, look up when did they have the family law cases or the CPS cases hearings, and go sit in that courthouse. You pay taxes, you pay for the show, and just sit down and listen. You ain't gonna ever watch another Maury, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Judy, because this shit is real. Like, you could hear some drama, you could hear some heartbreaking things, man. And these are people in your own community. Like, and it's not just black, it's all ethnicities, all backgrounds. And it's wild stuff, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's like, we've been a caseworker. You're not just there for your hearing and you leave, especially if you're in Houston. You there all damn day sometime. And while you're there, you listening to shit. You
Yeah.
know, oh my God, like damn.
These
Like,
ain't your friends. These are strangers. You be surprised what strangers do.
no,
Yeah.
no, I've had people I've known personally. Like I've had my barber. I used to tell him all these stuff I'm telling y'all that I may tell y'all. I like, hey, the X, Y, and Z do this. Oh man, dang, that's crazy. Woo, woo. I remember I was in court one day, ain't seen him in a few months because he had to take a vacation. He got out, came back, and I see him in court. I'm like, he like, what's up, baby? I'm like, nigga, what are you doing here? Like I'm in a suit and tie. Like, what are you like? Wait. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, oh man, you know, me and my old lady. Because I remember old girl he was with busted his windows out and hit the shop one time, and all that domestic violence stuff, all that people think is cute online is when these people get in your life and all they reckon you put all this shit. Man, when I tell you I've terminated so many people's rights from social media,
Yeah.
like, why are y'all putting that shit on social? Like,
That's admissible in court.
you shouldn't do it first and foremost. Then you go on social media. You make all it because I'm trying to be the level ground protection of the kids. Some people out here really trying to take your head off. They don't have the best interest of your kids. They just making sure they pay to really just. Once again, it's some wild work right here.
And see, that's where I wanted to go. Like listening to everything you're talking about, like you have to be a different type of person to deal with all that stuff. However, we already know, we all see it all the time. Everybody ain't built for that, and a lot of people are just there for a paycheck.
Correct.
Yeah, and a lot of people like literally don't give a fuck about your child, your well-being, your child's well. They just here to get the shit over with, and they'll tell you anything and everything. Hey, you need to say X, Y, Z, and blah 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 blah. And it's sad to say, a lot of the people they say it to don't understand the ramifications. They just feel like, oh, this man or woman or this person is representing my best interest, and they thinking like, shit, I'm trying to hurry up and get home so I could go see Judge Judy, or I got something lined up for me after work.
Yep.
You're absolutely correct, and that's something that like burn my balls, that really pissed me off, because this ain't the type of work. One, they don't pay you for shit. You know that's the other problem. Like it's very, even for the attorneys, and that's the other thing that become a problem. And let's pencil that. Can we pin that right there? But these caseworkers or these other folks, they don't get paid a lot, getting cussed out left, right. Hey man, like I've had some dads, before we had the Trumpsters. Y'all remember what we had before the Trumpsters? The whole political clique that was before them.
What was it? The Minutemen? What were them people called?
Close.
The Tea Party.
Tea Party.
There you go.
Tea Party. I had a Tea Party Republican. It was one of my dads in case this motherfucker try to talk shit, like especially have a black man at the case work for his kid. And I'm like, he used to do all this stuff. I like, nigga, I know where you stay. I know your checks. I like, stop playing with me, bro. Don't do that with me, man. Because I put all this aside, I'm like, I'm for that. Because I'm gonna whoop your ass for your child. That's all. But yeah. Everybody doesn't have that passion, and I've had that conversation with people, because you don't need a lot to become a caseworker. Okay, honestly, you need to do a bachelor's and whatever you want to do. I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to work with families, but and if you listen to my CPS stories, I've been doing the lineage of how the feeling. I never try to tell people just one story, let it go, because you're working on these cases simultaneously. But it's stressful. I'm 35, beard full of gray. If I'm head full of gray, all right, been gray since I was 28. All right, I mean it's stressful. All the other crazy shit, not the stuff that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis in life, but your work is just major stress. And these kids, when they open up to you, and even when these parents, that's why we have my pillars: respect, communication, and consistency. That's what I use for my children and my parents too, because I had a true talent where judges and attorneys put me on the case, because they like, Drake, Mr. Drake, he know how to communicate. He knows it. He got it. He can pull shit out of people that nobody else can. And I'm like, well, sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up and listen. Get on, like, be consistent. Keep your word. If I say I'm gonna be here at 8:30, I'm gonna be here at 8:30. If I say I'm gonna bring you McDonald's, I'm gonna bring you McDonald's. If I say, hey, I'm gonna requesting your visits to stop with your child, I'm gonna request your visits to stop with your child. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do before I'm putting the recommendation, because I'm a man of my word. Integrity means a lot. But when you deal, and when you talk to some of these parents, even are like, damn, you was fucked up as a child too. And now the grandma trying to take them. I'm like, you know, it's
man, I was gonna go there, but since you open up that can of worm,
it's all there.
Yeah.
It's there. And when the let me say, I got so many stories, and these are just me. I'm just one of the many caseworkers. And once again, it's rough work. It's an extremely high turnover rate.
Yeah.
Like,
very.
I started, it was 81 caseworkers that graduated me in my training class, because you have to go to something called BSD, Basic Skills and Development Training. They probably changed the title of that, but really dope training. I really appreciate it. It's like a 2 to 3 months training. Man, you go through all that training, you get, they give you little cupcakes, little party, Kool-Aid and shit, you know, punch and stuff. You know, they like got it, and literally right when you graduate, they're like, welcome to hell. So what y'all talking about, man? Then you come back and they just hit you. I mean, you talking about these big ass case binders. No, you got to read all this. You got court tomorrow, and you got to testify for the trial tomorrow. Oh, wow. Trial? The fuck you mean?
Yeah.
And you don't understand it at that moment, the impact of that shit. And you get in there and people are crying, and you just got to read off what you've been told to read off. Okay, you don't know the shit. No, there's no way you go read all this, and you got case, and you supposed to speak to people, and then you got to drop. Man, I had kids from, if you know Texas, or Houston, I had kids from Huntsville, Livingston. I had kids from Livingston, Kemah. Oh my gosh, it's way far east. I think Liberty to I want to say Katy, a little bit past Katy. I had kids. That was my circle. I had to visit all those kids once a month at least, and go to court. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, it was like, how the fuck you expect me to do all this? You know, it like, and that's as a CPS caseworker. And once again, I say I had to leave CPS because one, me and my supervisor did not get along. Like, cause that's the difference. He is a DA. Am I pronouncing correctly?
Yeah.
So like DA, my supervisor, he was one of them cats that like he went by the numbers. That's it. He didn't say them family name. He was a numbers dude. He like, hey, they ain't my problem type dude, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's where CPS gets the bad rap, and also that's where a lot of the damage comes from, because
Absolutely.
People who don't give a fuck about it, and then they'll go from say they had that one case and then nothing happens, then they drop that case on you. That family already got a bad taste in their mouth because of the last person. Now you got to do damage control, and we're not even gonna talk about the thugged out family that you got to goddamn either go in there packing or you got to call the police to get
And I said earlier, I don't like calling the police because I remember being in training, and I remember this little old, she was white, or she looked, she was white passing, whatever, saying that, do the police go with us, go out for the initial calls and things of that nature? And I said in class, like, why the hell you calling the police on them before you even talk to them? Like, why you coming in scary all the time? I said, just me. Y'all see how I'm dressed here? Everything I'm cool. If y'all bring the police to me when y'all first meeting me, just because whatever, the conversation between us is done, motherfucker. Like we have a problem. Like, yeah. I'm like, because what you bring the police for? What you think I'm gonna do to you? But then you do have some parents that's like, shit. It's like some parents are abusive. There are just I've had parents that kill their kids. I've had a lot of fucked up things happen, man. Like, but they still have other kids that you must come and protect.
Yep.
So everything DA saying is not a lot. Transfer cases are pure hell. Because usually the case, we just like when people quit a job. Like that's why I'm like I'm very cognizant. Like I'm very understanding. I try to be, everybody like fuck their job. CPS one of the places that don't be like fuck the kids, fuck the job, because we really need people who care. But like my soup, he was one of those guys. He he was good at the numbers. He just closed the case, keep it moving. He never got emotionally involved, and things would slip through the cracks. Things that the certain things emotionally that need to be paid attention to didn't matter. And I ain't gonna lie, I caught on to some of that because I communicated effectively, but I was damn near like a Terminator. If a parent didn't do some shit after I told you, okay, yeah, I ain't gonna argue with you no more. Okay, cool. Like, because I gave you opportunity. I wasn't very compassionate. By the time my second year of CPS, I was going after my year and a half. I was cold because I got burnt out, and that's all I knew how to do is like by the book, because it's still a job, and if something slipped through the cracks, because all that blame would go on the caseworker. All the blame would go on the caseworker. Like, I remember one time, like, you have to do something called discovery. It's like basically all of the paperwork you got to get scanned and sent in and things of that nature. And it was something I had to do I can't think of the term for it right now. I had to locate a father. That's why I tell people, you always got to locate fathers. If you have to put in it's bothering me. You have to put in a span, like basically, hey, if you got a child by this name of this woman around this time you may have sex with her, what is the name of it?
Wow.
And you have to put that out. If you don't do that, and if a man pops up at trial like a whole year in when you're supposed to be closing the case, I'm the pappy. You have to start the case all the way over.
Ooh.
And I remember one of the attorneys, like, she said I never did it. What happened was the bitch never submitted it, and she tried to flip over my submission. And that was a big stressor because she was making it seem like you didn't do your job. And that was my first job out of college. I still tell people that's the hardest job I had in my life. I used to get guns pulled on me, put in my face when I used to do repo. When I used to do repo, and I really do repo again to do CPS again. That's how stressful that job was.
Okay, so while you were working with CPS, have you ever had that issue where a gun was pulled on you?
No, I never had a gun and gun pulled on me at CPS. Once again, I don't know, because once again, I had one of those. I kept it respectful. If I knew a dude, and I always did my background and checking shit too. If I knew a dude was somebody was loony, all right, we're gonna meet at the McDonald's down the street, mom, dad, whatever. We're gonna meet CPS office. And I was a little bit more swollen, cut up back then. So I'm still there, but people really never tried it with me. They go do a little get, but nah. And I was cool at the same day, man. Usually they would want to hug on me. That's my thing. I used to like, nah, because even with the parents that I had to terminate their rights, they respected me because I respected them. You know, I let them speak. I got their point of view. And once again, I talk about this on TikTok. I remember one mother, she was hooping and hollering in the hallway, talking about because sometimes when these parents get together, they start talking shit and they start telling their side of the story, which they know they lying, but at the same time they start doing it. Feel like they start making a little scene in the hallway at LCPS. And I remember my mother was doing that. She was a white woman. She had bitch tattooed all up and down, like completely big old bold letters, complete forearm. Wild situation because her family this one if you listen to my TikTok, this is the one that the grandfather was supposed to be the Grand Wizard of the KKK in 45 South. I can't think of the city. But he was like, but the thing is, he would always send his new wife, to the courthouse because he wanted the kids. But the grandma, once again, that'll be a whole story for y'all. But case in point, I said that I asked my mother's attorney, like, hey, can you get your client? Can we talk in this one of these side rooms in the highway just so I can get an understanding? So we sat down, talked to her. She had her arms crossed. I said, Miss So-and-so, what do you want? Just tell me what you want right now. I want my kids. You want your kids? Bet. Okay, where would you like me to take your kids? Can you give me an address? I had to tell her my job is make sure. This is me at CPS. My job, my job is to make sure these kids are going to be safe and is going to be protected wherever they go. All right, your kids are currently with your mother and they are safe and they're protected. Would you agree? She's like, yes. Okay, cool. So I just need to know a few things so I got to tell my people so I can tell the judge so we can approve. I can approve, but I got to make a story to the judge. So give me an address. are you okay? I said, so are you, she couldn't give me the address because she didn't know the address. All right. So I said, who you staying with then? Are you staying with someone? She like, yeah, I'm staying with a friend. Okay, is a male or female? She was like, a male. I'm like, oh, okay. So would he pass the background check? She was like, no. I was like, what do you think of his background check? Well, it was like literally she said some type of sexual abuse and some type of domestic violence. I'm like, that's not going to work. All right, but let's think about it. So let's say you find a new place. You find a new this in front of her attorney, everything. I said, let's say you find a new place. Okay, I return the kids to you. I said, you got a 5-year-old and you got a 3-year-old. Are you going to be able to take your child to school and you got to be able to take them to daycare? I'm gonna work something out. I said, I need a plan. I don't need you to work. I need you to have an idea for me right now. Working out don't work for me. Okay. So I like, and once again, I said, I'm cool. You give me something, I'll make it shake. All right. You know, that's what Mr. Drake do. And I'm like, but all right. So, and you know, do you have any check stuff? She was a stripper. And, you know, by the way she looked, she wasn't a very, you know, the income wasn't coming in. Let me tell you that. She was one of the Wednesday afternoon strippers. Let's say that.
She was day shift.
Yeah. You know, and no BS. That's legit was her shift. And I'm like, you know, you can't say that. You know, you're supposed to get check stubs. You can't check stubs with that career. But it was like one of the things. Like, yo, I'm not your enemy. We giving you all these services. We give you therapy. We get counseling. We give you job skills. All these things are paid for by the state. Only thing the state does not pay for is parenting classes. And those are usually free. That we give you a list of places you can go for free for parenting classes. That's all you got to do. Everything else, we help you with transportation if you need to do somewhere. All this stuff is paid for to help you get on your feet while your children are being taken care of by your mother. But hey, if we work it out, we can make it. But all the same, we are here. We here. Let me know where I can help. She like, thank you. She like really, she cried. Her attorney, cried. She was like, her attorney was like, thank you. And I like it. This is once again, this is me young and you know what I'm doing. But we step out in that hallway, and she was cool. She tried to hug me. I don't know if she tried to hug me. I'm like, we don't do that hugging shit. Don't touch me. But the thing was, she was like, I appreciate it. No boy didn't know. I promise. No more. 2 minutes later, she saw her friends, the new parents she met in the highway. Man, CPS ain't shit. This, and that. And she looked at me. She like, go though. I like, bitch. I like, but it's wild how people mind. Like, I learned so much in this work. You know, I just learned how behaviors and mindsets, and I see the same thing on social media. I see on TikTok how people just be saying the wildest shit, and I'm like, you can't even argue with them when they have that type of mindset. Like, you just gotta let them be.
You're right. Okay, so let's do couple of situations because I know Pinks have a story that she wanted to ask a question about. You gonna act like you don't remember yours?
Pinks like, don't throw me under the bus like that.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Oh, I got to. I got to.
I'm here though. I'm here.
You frozen?
You ready with your story?
Oh, okay.
Your question you have the 3 kids.
I'm gonna ask the question because you just gave a hell of a lot of information. Like that was a whole long process. So before getting these people put in family's business, I know there's like the obvious stuff, like the neglect and the physical that you can tell. But what other signs are there out there where it's like that's a situation maybe somebody needs to call? Because I know a lot of stuff happens around us and nobody calls, nobody says anything. A lot of folks just mind their business because it's like, well, better they with their parents than CPS or foster care. So like what type of things that are not the obvious, in your opinion, should be looked for?
That's a very good question. Thank you. Very, very, very good question, because sometimes I can be that person. I thought on TikTok was another story that a little boy was just walking up the street when they were like 3 years old, and I helped him find his way home. I talked to find the mother. I talked to the mother. I did all this without involving CPS. Now, would everybody else do this? No. Should everybody do this? I don't know. Once again, I'm a village-minded person. I was raised in a village. I still believe in the village, and that's how I operate, okay? But like you say, Nika or Pinks, you know, a lot of people may not care so much about the village or understand how to operate. Some people don't want other people in their business, you know. But if you go to a point when you're seeing kids are not being, you can tell they're not being fed, or they're asking for a lot of food, or you see them wearing the same clothes for 3 days in a row. And I mean like shirt and pants and shoes. Walking around at night. They're wearing long sleeve shirts. Now these kids do be wearing hoodies and shit in the summer, but they were usually, if they're wearing something long sleeve in like Texas and something like that in July, that is a key indicator. What are they trying to hide and things of that nature? They very disheveled. All those are indicators that or the child open up to you. That's another child express themselves. Hey, something's happening to me. Don't take that as no bullshit. Just go ahead and do your thing, and you know, and check back in. But once again, we say all the time, people crazy these days. So that's things that make a call, and this is what thing we train on. But something else we talk about in training, that neglect is something hard. Neglect, not so much about emotional neglect. That's something hard to catch. So sometimes stories come up, but usually the child expresses themselves. You see any type of marks, bruises, cuts. Some things investigators look at more detail. If they have like a bruise or a cut and a healing cut, it's been happened several times over a certain period of time, things to look out for as well. And you know, I asked a question about being a latchkey kid a few months ago on TikTok, and I was like, a lot of us were neglected. Let me tell you that. Like somebody said they were like 5 years old being home by themselves. I'm like, that would have been a severe case. Let me tell you that. I was at home 7 years old by myself though. So it's like, and they look at who's responsible, you know, and it all has to, a lot of this to come down to poverty as well. It's so much that goes into this. So I would say if you see something and you make you feel uncomfortable, like, hey, I need to step up. If you have the heart to step up and speak, do that. But if you feel like in danger that you shouldn't speak, or you see a parent do something, or you see some type of child being beat or hit or abused, or you know, don't get me started on sexual abuse. Make that call.
Oh,
so that's a whole different. That's worked it numerous times, but that's some hard stuff, man.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah. So you said latchkey kids. You mentioned latchkey kids and how that was a form of neglect.
What was one of the key things you were told as a latchkey kid?
Or don't let nobody in the house.
Pick up this damn phone. All right.
Yeah.
Then, like, if you like 3, 4, 5 years old, that was the key thing. But a lot of abuse happened to neglect, or they harmed themselves with latchkey kids. And there's no way around it, because it's a story right now on TikTok. This is in Great Britain. A black mother went partying for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
How long was it? 6 days.
6 days. The kids starved to death.
But see, that's that to me, and I guess that's where I was going with it. It's a difference when is it a difference when your parents are working versus out there fucking off?
I agree, but the thing, but I could look at it the same way. The thing is, I could look at you should have had somebody watching your child. You are responsible.
It's lack of supervision.
Yeah,
that's neglect.
And then also too, technically we kind of did have like the neighbor knew shit like that. So technically somebody was watching the house, but it just wasn't physically in the house.
Yeah, that's not supervision. Supervision is
no. That's what I'm saying. I guess you could say technically, yeah.
But it does depend on age, and it does depend on communication. So DA is correct, but Lord, and it depends on how long you leave. How did you communicate? Like the mother I'll talk. She went up the street real quick. She told her 13-year-old son, the boy's big brother, to watch him. He was upstairs playing Fortnite and video games and shit, and his little brother sneaked out the back door. That was a situation that I'm glad I got involved. Solved a lot of problems. The little boy, the brother was on punishment for some time. Okay,
I bet he was.
But I've had mothers that, this is cases I work, that go out, leave their kids with the neighbor. Neighbors would have been supervising them. Mother go out, have a little too much fun, run into some old friends. This is literally a straight up case, though. I'm giving to y'all now before I tell it in the future. Do about 2 to 4 ounces of cocaine in one night.
Ooh.
Get robbed and R-worded, you know. About a good 24, 48 hours goes back. Her kid's back in CPS. This is the second time these set of kids been in CPS custody after she's already lost 3 kids to CPS custody before.
Wow. For the same shit?
Oh yeah, she was a struggling substance abuser, cocaine heavily throughout her life. Man, I need to reach out to that's like a miracle story. I can tell y'all that was something that, like, that woman, if it wasn't for me and my volunteer, that woman would never see them kids before. And I don't know where them kids would have been, because long story short, on paper, those kids never should have went back to her ever. But until like my supervisor her rights would have been terminated within probably 3 months. We worked this case for a year and a half and returned them kids back to their mother. And let me tell you, the kids was best with her. Like, I know it's hard not hearing that, what I'm saying, that she's been a long time substance abuser, white woman. Her ex-husband got out of jail. He was a dope man back in the day, got caught up, went to that vacation for a minute, not jail, but prison. And he said, I'm gonna get my boys back. And he went and did a he went and did a drug test on his damn self. He like, the state, I'm gonna do it myself. And it came back positive. We were like, well, damn. And I'm like, it's be some wild. It like, I'll be telling people, the stuff be so damn crazy and sad. You gotta laugh about it, because but the thing is, long story short, this is a case. This is when I was at CASA, a child advocate. I wasn't with the state, and we kind of have to hold the state responsible. Like, we know you lying, okay? We know you're not doing your job. But it was to the point we had 8 caseworkers on this one case. 8 caseworkers. These kids are a little difficult. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. Them kids are a little difficult, all right? They were cool with me, but there were 3 of them. They done been seen a lot. They've been through a lot. The older ones cool, and the 2 youngest ones were different. All right. And the younger one, I remember this one, I think it was the 6th or 7th one. And she was a sweetie. She just got out of college, just got out of training. She was a sweetie pie, like she didn't curse or nothing. And I was like, they about to eat your ass alive. I already knew it was about to. I said, oh, poor soul. Man, she was on this case, and she would check in with me. And I remember I used to have like events for my volunteers, like vacation at happy hours. So, hey, y'all done a great job. Let me treat y'all to this. Woo, woo, woo. And we said, we don't pick up our phones. We don't answer nothing. We ain't doing work. This is y'all time to relax, and we'll have a good time with one another. And my one volunteer, his name was Paul. I would say his real name. He was blowing me up, man. He was his phone, like the mother was blowing him up, blowing on. And he was black, but from the UK. He's like, Brandon, I got to take this call. And I'm like, oh, gosh, take it. She didn't call you about 20 times, take it. He come back into, like, we was thinking it was at Dave and Buster's. He come back. He said, Miss So-and-so say that CPS lost the youngest child. I'm like, and I'm thinking, she back on that shit. Damn, do I have to go back? Let me go talk to her. And she break it down to me. She crying. She frantic. I like, relax. It's Friday. It's still like 3 o'clock. Like, with 3:30, people get off early. You know how it is on Friday. So I call the CPS caseworker. No answer. I leave a voicemail. Call, text, nothing back. Okay. All right. I call the CPS supervisor. Once again, I work for CPS. I still got them. I got connections. All right. Hey, I'm gonna make a name. Hey Pam, what's going on? This, Drake, child advocates, just checking in. The mother's been blowing up saying y'all lost the child. Like, what's going on? This is like, is they checking in? No, she's like, no, Mr. Drake. Unfortunately, the caseworker placed Peter, and shit, that maybe is real. Like, I try to make up fake names all the time. Placed Peter and did not put it in the placement paperwork, so we do not know where he's at this moment. Ooh, when I tell you, when I say I was like, what? It's so crazy. This was years ago. Goose, my hair just stood up on my arms. How mad I got. I know you. I was like, I know you lying. I'm like, what? Nah, oh shit. I was like, man, I'll call y'all back. I called the attorney at Lightem. tell that man that motherfucker went. Oh man, he one time when he sent some of them emails and filed with petitions of court. We was in court Monday, but we ended up thankfully. Only reason we find out where that child was placed is because that placement needed his clothing voucher, money to get him clothes. And called the office. That's the only reason. And I'm like, and he was placed far out. I'm like, yeah, this child, and that's why I said, Judge, this, you had that feeling of discernment. I like these kids. The state is not a place for these kids. And if I can touch on that quickly, don't get me wrong, the state once again does not make the best parent. I've seen some really good outcomes, better outcomes, but a lot of it doesn't happen. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's hard either way, even if they don't come into the state custody with certain, because when you're dealing with teenagers sometimes, it's like, man, it's like we wish we would have got to them a little bit earlier, the family a little earlier, because the damage has been done already, But man, when I say, you have the school, jail, the prison pipeline, if you involve CPS, it's much quicker than that, especially for Black men. All right. When we talk about, I was heavy talking about disproportionality when I was in Houston, and it still affects all around, that we do not make up the majority of the population of the city, town, or county, or whatever, but we make up the majority of children in care. We make up the percentage wise, and we make up the majority. And we don't make it the majority percent. We got the highest percentage of that, but still, it's a disproportionate rate how we come across. We're not the majority in there. Majority that's stuck in care is us. That's the other thing. The ones that sometimes go back with their families are white families, okay? But many of them that stuck in care that can't be adopted are Black children, all right? Especially Black males and things that it's the truth. The first time I cried as a caseworker was when I had a mixed race child, didn't look Black for nothing. His a Latin family, I think they did identify as Mexican, was in like Waco. I was like, something happened with his placement and I had to move him. That's another I didn't even talk about the responsibilities of conservatorship worker, that you got to transport these kids everywhere too. He turned 1. This is the day of his birthday. The placement that he was supposed to be living at said they couldn't take him no more. So the day he turned 1, I had to move him. He just a fat-faced little cute baby, couldn't walk, just sweet as can be. And the family that was in Waco met his Latin family, said they wanted to potentially adopt, because you got different type of foster families and adoptive families and legal risk, all these different type of things and terminologies that, once again, y'all got to listen to it, everything culture for all that. But when I tell you that I told them, everything's going on there, the mother like, yeah, I just had surgery, blah, 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 blah. And we so excited, like, perfect. Okay. I'm getting everything ready. I have my women coworkers watching them because I don't know how to do nothing with no baby. And once again, this is he still in diapers, but just not problematic at all. I'm getting my plane tickets ready the day of. I'm about to fly to Waco, just on a Friday out the blue. Once again, nothing planned. Get a call back. My supervisor gets the call from the foster agency saying, hey, no, I get a call from the foster mother, the potential foster mother, saying, ask, hey, what is he? I see he's biracial. What he's mixed with? I'm like, oh, he's mixed with white and Black. His mother's white. His dad is African American, whatever. She's like, okay, thank you. My supervisor get a call from the foster agency saying they backed out. And she said the reason why she backed out, they backed out because the mother, the foster mother, recently had surgery, don't know if she can do it. And me, I'm like, once again, my supervisor like, well, that's what it is, kept it moving, whatever. Me, I'm like, no, she knew she had surgery before this shit came up. The fuck? No. Like, so I called her back because she called me, like, hey, Miss So-and-so, this and Mr. Drake. I see that y'all backed out. Can you tell me the reason? She was like, yeah, we intended to adopt a long time, and when we found out that he's like biracial and it's with Black, we no longer want to know. If it was like Mexican or something else, we've been fine, but with Black, we don't want him in our household when he started to look different, getting older. Man, when I told that shit, shattered my heart. Like it tore me up, because the whole point is it's like you could be Black. And once again, he just won. He is the representation of innocence at this moment, and to say something like that and feel so confident and feel so comfortable with that. It rubbed me the wrong way. So I called the foster agency. I let them know exactly what was said, blah, 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 blah. They ended up taking her license away and shit the next week or so.
Good.
Like, but that's just some things that are faced. Not saying every placement is like that, but it's like that. Like, so, you know, so when I see people step up and do want to help out these kids, because I've had kids being 15, 16 foster placements from the age of like 16 to 18. Go to, you know how many you have these schools you have to go to during those times? You know, we don't think about that. So that's why I love the title and when I put the forgotten, because I don't think we really, not only we forget, but we don't understand for shit. You know, we really don't understand. Well, that's why I'm bringing kids that aged out of foster care on my show. Well, adults that were kids that aged out of foster care to come on my show. They'll talk about the good and the bad and the ugly, you know. Yeah. Have the caseworkers talk about it. And I'm doing a separate series for each group of people, because from a judge's perspective, what is it like being a judge? You have to make a decision like this, you know, if you don't have all the information. Being an attorney that have to deal with this, being a caseworker, being a foster parent, because even with the foster parents, it's sad. Some foster parents be ready to adopt and they do all that stuff for the kids and all that, but the parents start working their services. And the kids are removing their home, placed back with the parent. That this is the third, fourth time the kids be in CPS custody, and they barely do this, but they did what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And the foster parents are torn the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Or the family member, they know their cousins over there crazy as shit. They've been dealing with all their life. But the thing is, or the grandparent that actually, I've had some grandparents like, how the hell your child end up like this? The first time I talked. I used to always ask back in the day, how did people get on crack? What the hell make you want to do crack? Until I started working at CPS and I was at a visit, then I was shadowing somebody else, and there was a white man, probably racist as shit, with his daughter. And it, like, you put all that differences aside when you're talking about this, you know, when you see people in their most vulnerable state. But this man was there with his daughter, taking care of his daughter, his grandchild in CPS custody. And we're asking, you know, answer. So, you know, how do you do? I was listening. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just sitting down with my laptop, just taking notes. And she was like my coworker asked, so when did you first use hard rock cocaine or whatever? She was like, you know, just as casual. Well, my boyfriend, you know, at the time, you know, with the baby daddy, was like, he was really sad and going through it. And once again, nice house they in. And, you know, he was just really sad. He was going through a lot, and he was like, crack, and he like, do you want to try some? And I was like, yeah. It was that easy. I was like, it was that simple to get you hooked on crack. Dang, and the daddy, I looked at the daddy, he was just like, I was like, shit. I once again, you see so much and hear so much, and the main thing, you got to think about the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have kids having kids, that's a whole other thing.
Whole nother thing. I've seen so much of that. So Russell has a question in the comments. What is considered abuse and what is considered disciplining your child?
That's a good one. Sorry for whistling the mic. But I would say you got to look that one up. Depending where you at. Okay. That's the best. So the best way I can put it simple is the communication, and is age appropriate. Communication is age appropriate. For instance, even with timeout, if you use them inappropriately, it can be used as abuse too. Mm-hmm. For instance, if you have like a 4-year-old and you put them in timeout for hours, standing in the corner, that could be considered like, you know, overly abusive, or because usually like for 4, it should be like 4 minutes. That's how I look at it. And if they like 4 minutes consecutively, if you break that 4 minutes, you could put them back in. If they do something, you put them back in. But if it's just that, it's unreasonable. A lot of people think spanking is abuse. No, but it's the way you spank and what you do, and do you communicate why they were spanking, what's going on as well. If you just mad and you just tired and you frustrated and you just beating them because of whatever, that's you. And what do you use and how do you do it? That's the most simplistic way I can tell you right there. But we've all grown up, because once again, a lot of us would be considered abused, beaten, and things. Some of us may not. Like I didn't get that many whoopings growing up. you know, but that's different. But I got whoopings, you know. I've gotten threats, and some people know sometimes threats just as bad as the whooping. Okay, but case in point, I've had a kid that his stepdad used to have him do like push-up, squats, little military things for him to do, and that was considered abuse because it was to the point that he became dehydrated, he became sick, and things of that nature. But that child was something different too. He's taking a vacation, but the thing is, way you communicate with the child, how you can follow up to, and what they've been brought up, what they've seen. Sometimes you created this behavior. But I hope I answered that question right there. And then it was something I wanted to follow up about with abuse as well. Same thing with spankings. I had a man. He was like 6'6", 300 something pounds, big motherfucker. Should have been in the NFL or something. Okay.
Sound like DA.
Man, hey, he spanked his stepson though. He spanked his stepson. Wasn't his child, but his stepson. His stepson was like maybe 7 years old, to the point where flesh was falling off his body.
Oh.
See, once again, when we get to this graphic stuff, when this stuff we had to look, and his thing was like, oh, my mother whooped me. What's the problem? Motherfucking what?
Yeah, I was about to go there.
Hell.
It's a cycle sometimes too, but the thing is, he made out of hood, and that ain't your child. Really, if we knew who this child daddy had a relationship with, and that's, man, when I tell you, when it become that, if we get into the conversation about when the mother have numerous different daddies and they start getting, oh my goodness, because you got to get into all this drama, and you got to. I don't. That's why when people be doing this fake drama and stuff on social media, that's why I just block somebody. It's no need to be fake about it. It's enough drama out here in this world, y'all.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
That's crazy.
Because you look like you're going to say something.
I hope I answered.
I think you so quiet over there. I think that comparison works very well. So I have a question. I know somebody that I'm gonna say this year has had a couple of CPS cases. So one of the cases originated because her child has health issues. When they reside, she ended up having to hide the baby at a hospital in Houston. So when the baby gets certain kind of services, she has to take that baby to that hospital in Houston. Well, some time ago, she missed an appointment. And the baby daddy got into it. He chose not to take her to the appointment. So because she lives, I'm gonna say, say she live in Pflugersville, and she has to go to Houston, and I didn't want to say the actual place.
It's okay. Go ahead.
It's about a 2.5 hour drive, and she doesn't have transportation. So what she does is she's taking an Uber. So this particular time, she goes to finally takes the baby maybe 2 months after, and the hospital is supposed to call CPS on her because the baby had gone that far without, whatever treatment checkup she's supposed to get. What you finna say?
No, I want to make sure I hear it all before I respond.
Okay, so go through that. They go through this situation. They tell her, well, look, you about to lose your kids. At the same time, her mother is transitioning. She's passing away.
Okay. And transitioning a lot these days.
Facts. Because I was thinking the same thing.
That's why I added passing away, because the look on your face and the look on DA's face, everybody's face had to look like.
Hey, okay, that's interesting. That's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they go through this situation where they do the investigation. She supposed to had not being able to be alone with the kids. She has 2 kids. Finally found somebody. The auntie got drunk and up and just walked out. Okay. So there goes that 24-hour surveillance that she's person of being with her went. but the case ended up getting dropped.
Okay.
Another case come up probably 6 months later. Somebody called and said she's leaving the baby in the house by herself. Kind of hard to do when the baby has a nurse that comes by. The baby has a nurse and a specialist that comes by daily. That investigation goes, they end up closing it. But I was told that after they closed a particular case, they told her basically it was supposed to go on her record and she can't be around women like elderly and kids for like 5 years, which I've never heard of it going down that way. And I've worked with kids and stuff before where there was a situation where if they find evidence, then they put you on that 5-year probation where you can't be around kids and adults, the elderly or whatever. But I've never heard if they never found nothing and it going on your record.
Okay, so thank you for all that too, and my condolences to that woman's mother. I do not know the direct answers for this right here because this is a different department. So under Department of Family Protective Services, you have CPS and you have Adult Protective Services. So you have Child Protective Services and you have Adult Protective Services, okay? Under Child Protective Services, you have investigations, family-based safety services, and conservatorship. We discussed those three. You also have adoption prep and you have child care licensing. That's a whole different thing, okay?
Ooh.
But
I'm very familiar with them. Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like more of a child care licensing situation where they can make these decisions. Child care licensing is the department who approves daycares, facilities. Same thing with Adult Protective Services. They approve these placements. They go out and check, make sure they're good. They like basically like the you go to a restaurant and they give them a grade A and things of that nature. It's the same thing with these type of facilities. Like they can shut you down. They can put taxes and penalties and shit on your ass, all that. And it's needed. It's needed, y'all. Everybody just can't be a daycare out here. Everybody can't just be
they can't
facility. But with the situation with this woman here, oh Lord. Now CPS do drop the ball on the other end when they should, because this seems like something still need to be investigated. Seem like she's still trying to become more established because once CPS will drop the ball, who put this woman, the auntie, in charge? She's just getting drunk and leaving the kid by themselves. That's a faux pas right there, and that's what I want to be attentive of. Two, why? I'm trying to understand why did she have to go to Houston? Why couldn't she get the services in Austin? I mean, Pflugerville.
Apparently, they don't offer the services.
Special needs services.
That's what I was told. That they stay in a smaller town than that, but yeah, they don't have the specialty services that the little girl needs, so she has to go every month.
Okay, so is this like a life or death situation?
Yeah, she got some.
Oh, and that's fine. That's fine. So okay, well she need now that makes sense. She need to go. So why is the mother still in Pflugerville or in?
That's what I said.
Why don't she relocate to provide the places where the place where her child needs services to survive?
Well,
she may not have the means. That's what a lot of
Okay,
a lot of it goes on. So they don't have the
means. That's my question. What is keeping you in Pflugerville?
Because her answer to look. I can pull up the conversation.
Because that's my genuine question I'll ask. What's keeping you there? And I understand if you don't have the means, what would it take to get you the means then?
Yeah.
Because I asked her that because I was like, you driving an hour and a half in an Uber with two kids.
That takes some.
Wait, she in an Uber?
That's what I heard. She was in an Uber from Pflugerville to Houston.
Baby, no.
That's a good $400 right there.
Oh, well, she might well get a car.
That was my thing as well. I'm like, you gotta do something. Like, and at the point, like I told her, if somebody keeps calling CPS on you, which we believe is the baby daddy's girlfriend that's doing it.
Oh, okay.
You need to move around because this is your third call in a year. Like that don't look good.
And I say this real quick? If you call CPS knowing there's no abuse and neglect happening, you are.
That's a felony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I want to say no. It is. It just became one this past September, I believe.
Okay.
But you ain't like. I don't want to say you ain't shit. Yeah.
It's a felony.
And I say that because I'm because people love being petty. Petty is like the cute thing to be these days.
And I'm glad you said that because that was gonna be my question about weaponizing CPS. Oh.
That is the worst thing to fucking do. I'm telling you. And I'm not trying to give anybody any ammunition, but I really don't like you as a person and an individual if you do something like that. Like I want something like that because you're putting a whole lot of issues and stress and harm, because this was taught to me in my training. If we look through the white pages, let me age myself a little bit. If we just look through a source of people on your Facebook account, let's say that. If we just scroll Facebook and we pick out of 100 people we scroll by and we pick, let's say 7 people, all right? But let's say we pick 10 people. Out of those 10 people, possibly 4 could be possible for neglect or abuse, or just at least neglect.
Mm-hmm.
That an investigation could at least go to FSS, because everybody can do better. That's the thing about it, you know. But if you see somebody you just don't like, just putting them in their life, that's some dirty shit, man. That's some real dirty shit, and you affecting once again.
Very.
Yeah,
and
I've seen it. Once again, I've seen it happen. And I mean, I ain't gonna tell y'all all these stories, man, but I've seen some real stuff that I've said back, even when caseworkers get out of pocket and a parent get upset and a parent run up on a caseworker in like in a restroom or something. I like, this caseworker need an ass whoop. They need this, because I would fuck them up. I was like, I'm glad it happened to them too. Now the parent go get some charges behind them, but the thing is, some caseworkers are out of pocket, you know.
Oh yeah, I've had to deal with some true buttheads. A lot of them lie. They'll say that they actually came to the daycare and
a lot of them lie.
Yes. Oh, I came and I checked out the daycare before the kids started. Oh, I go do visits, and then when I get that other call, and they like, so has the caseworker been there? No, you the first person that called. I've never seen nobody else. No, she hasn't been here, and I've had to report a lot of that.
So you over there dry snitching? Okay.
Yes, because when they start calling and they ask, and then when they want to complain that the daycare is not up to par, they're gonna like, but I thought you went and checked out the daycare. Or when they
subpoena her to court.
Yeah, or when that part, because that's happened to me before. I did get subpoenaed to go to court for a case after the daddy broke into the daycare. God, that was a whole mess. I remember when I was working at the daycare and went in and opened up, and my office was trashed. I had a parent that was in CPS case, and he broke into the daycare, and because he see where the money went, he went and cracked open the file cabinet. Wasn't no money in there because we cleared the money at the end of the day. So
I remember that.
He left backpack, he left gloves, he left the crowbar, he left the mat, he left a whole lot of stuff. Bigfoot. He was mad.
He ain't get no money, so he was just like,
hell of a drug.
Let me tell y'all this. If I was a caseworker and I got a call that's hearing one of my dads broke into the daycare, all this shit, once again, let's end his business real quick. Like, and that's the thing, when parents do shit out of pocket, it hurts the kids at the end of the day.
Oh man, me and you on the same page, because I was about to say the same thing. So let's talk about that, like, because in the world that we live in now, the big thing is to be petty. Yeah, we want to be petty. I'm not finna let this dude or this chick outdo me. I'm gonna get this motherfucker, blah 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 blah. And like, we keep saying it, but we really not saying it. Like, the only person that gets hurt in that whole situation is the child. What are some things that you have witnessed that were because of that situation?
Nastiness,
Like, and I'm coming from a kid. I don't care about the adults. They just dumb as shit.
I know where you coming from as a
Yeah.
man. Yeah, ain't about to have me crying on here, man. But I legit, man, seen. Shoot, man. I had a parent recently on TikTok. There was in the case that I had to check that she used to be a big supporter and follow everything culture, that she was being petty, and I had to check that. But we will leave that there right now. But I've seen parents miss visits. I've seen parents, a kid, oh my God, this mother was schizophrenic, and the child was, when I said he was 15, 16-year-old, now he was a really big kid. And the thing with him, he was like 330 at the age of 15 or something like that. And that's what everybody was worried about. And the mother was like, once again, this mother was schizophrenic. She was a hoarder. It was a black family too. But the thing is, she looked good though. If you saw her out and about, you wouldn't think it, you know. But you used to, I be trying to tell these niggas, you better watch out. But it's like, the thing was, I remember this was my first visit. I came by early to the CPS office. This was in North Point. It was in Greens Point, okay? Oh, shit. And I remember this one I was with Casa. So I go by the CPS office, and this is one of my last cases before I went into the training part when I stopped going to court. But as a guardian ad litem. But man, everything was fine. The mother ain't made it there yet. Everything was cool. I like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna go get some McDonald's up the street so I was go feed them. Y'all ain't gotta worry about nothing. You know, McDonald's okay back then. Yeah, I come back. Like, we go nothing but 5-10 minutes up the street. I come back no more than 10 minutes. I promise y'all. Man, it's like World War III in the parking lot. Mother F him, fuck that back motherfucker. I won't ever gotta see me again. I'm like, what is going on? Like, and all of that, he just at the door and he crying. I'm like, what happened? And she just, not only that, she cuss him out, and she what you got when you skirt off in the car when you leave the tire tracks and all that? Yeah, she burnt out in the CPS parking lot. I'm like, what happened? And then I have to console him and talk to him. Then we go to court. She done snapped back into like, well, you know, it was just a misunderstanding. Bitch, you cuss your son out in front of everybody. What you mean a misunderstanding? And that's the biggest thing I see that bothers me, is when grown folks don't understand that they are grown. Mm-hmm. People don't like being an adult. I see that more and more every day. And when they have children, they still put themselves like they were a child because they didn't get certain things or felt like there's so many narcissists, men and women out here. And that's what I said. A lot of them are there since CPS custody. It doesn't necessarily do with CPS. Okay, they put themselves before their child. And another one. Mother, this was one of the biggest one. Mother, she wasn't the brightest bulb in the chandelier. She was dating a man that was a creep. All right. She had an 8-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. And the attorney, she had a 15-year-old son, 8-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son. Okay. Excuse me. We already had a play. Like, this is when one of my good attorney buddies, shout out to Judge Katrina Griffith. She's once again judge now. And she was like, Drake, I really want you in this case. She would always want to play. If I want to put child advocates cost in this case, I want him. You know how to speak to these teenagers and all this. And she was like, hey, you cool. You really could be working with one kid. The other 2 kids are going to be fine. One of them is going to be with their aunt. The other one, we located their father. They're going to go with the father. You need to focus. We would just want you to focus on the 15-year-old, you know? I'm like, bet, no problem. Oh man, this gonna be a convoluted. I'm gonna give y'all so much with this one. Y'all getting preview some of these stories I got later for TikTok. So the mother here, this is CPS dropped the ball. They were in, I'm just gonna say Dallas. Okay, before they came to Houston, they were in Dallas. All right, and it was a CPS case opened up because the mother's husband, I think she was married to the guy's husband, sexually abused her 8-year-old daughter. Okay. So when CPS got involved, they said, okay, we remove the daughter, place them, place on another placement. Can anyone guess where CPS thought it was cool to place the 8-year-old daughter?
Back within the home.
Not back with the home.
The grandma.
Not with the grandma. Close though.
The 15-year-old.
Not with the 15-year-old. Okay, he had to go. But it's close to the grandma. They decided to place this 8-year-old little girl with the husband's father, the step grandfather. Can anyone guess what happened to her with the step grandfather?
Probably the same thing.
She was molested again within the next month. So yeah, okay. And the mother recommended them though, So, I got another mother I gotta think of, and these are all white women too.
Both of them needed to be shot in the ass.
But then that's why everybody can't be a volunteer doing this work too. But trust me, I understand. Yeah. So the mother was getting beat on by him and all this. It was a whole bunch of going on. But
okay.
But she was it's one of the things you just got to see it beat out. But we end up placing, when they came to Houston, I get on the case. The case, I get on the case. Once again, the girl, she was about to go with her daddy. But I didn't know anything until I started reading. I'm reading stuff while I'm in the courthouse. I'm reading the case file and I'm listening. And one of the craziest attorneys I've ever worked, this bitch crazy motherfucker, man. But we'll talk about that another day. Just, usually I'm kind to my older black women, but she was one of them mean, like crazy mean black ladies. She just wanted to be spiteful. Like she was one of them black women that used to spit on Martin Luther King back in the day, probably. She was like a female Uncle Ruckus. That's the best way I can put it. But crazy. It was crazy. The eye and everything. But
damn.
But the thing is, that was the mother's attorney, and she used to scare the mother. Like once again, y'all just don't feel me. But when I'm telling y'all, so once again, it's going to be a slam dunk. Other two kids will be going on. I just got the teenager, all right. But with the other one, I'm talking to the dad, okay, like the dad, because I'm thinking, why are we returning? He just found out that was his daughter like 2 years ago, okay. So it's been 5 years. Didn't know he even had a daughter or something like that nature, and because the mother hid it from him basically, but now he want to build a relationship. They've never met before in my life. I think they just started to meet with one another. I think they met maybe twice. It wasn't really a tight conversation. When I started asking them questions, like I'm like, we want to return to, like, we want to just place like that. And like he lived in Fort Worth. Let's say that he lived up north. But my job is to ask these questions as the guardian ad litem of the best interest of the child. All right. CPS is like, hey, we just want to close this case. Like, once again, we just want to place him. Let's get out of here. All right. So we all went out to eat pizza because we had a break in the courthouse. We had a break in the day. All right. And I'm sitting down across with the dad. Everybody except for the mother and the mother's attorney sitting together at the pizza spot down the street from the courthouse. All right. And I'm talking to dad. I'm telling him what we do, child advocates. We're going to make sure to visit a child once per month. We're going to make recommendations. If the children are placed a little bit further outside of Houston, like 2 to 3 hours, we go see like every quarterly, something like that. But we'll have a courtesy supervision case that somebody else go and visit for us monthly, and I said we may make recommendations such as individual therapy or counseling. We may make recommendations such as drug testing, things of that nature, or perhaps for the child to be put in a special program after school to keep them in, things of that nature, best interest. And the man just like, man, I hope y'all don't drug test me. And I'm like, I'm telling you, your gears rolling your head. I'm thinking like, I didn't want to ask him. I had to ask him like, why would you ask that? Why would you say that? It's like, he was like, oh man, I used to be addicted to marijuana. Addicted to marijuana? Who the fuck? I've been doing substance abuse trainings and classes in my years. I've never heard anybody say being addicted to marijuana. What? I'm like, once again, everything in my gut, like, what make you say you're addicted to marijuana? well, smoking it like, he couldn't stop smoking like he just went in. And I said, so pray tell, like, when last time you smoked? You mind sharing with me? He was like,
This morning.
he like about a month, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I'm like, motherfucker. Y'all, I remember walking up the street and I'm like, hey, I see my homegirl, the attorney, the one that put me on the case. I was like, hey, let's still, how we walking in the group. I like, hey, let's slow down. Let everybody go in front of us real quick. I'm gonna have to ask for a continuance of this case. I have to ask her because the dad just opened up about we're about the marijuana, and she was like, "You lying?" And she's like, "Why the fuck you talking to him?" I'm like, "Cause that's my job. That's my job. You know that. You asked me to be here for a reason, and now I gotta bring up why does it make sense even placing this little girl with a man she barely know, and he lived with his daddy after she's been molested by her stepdaddy and step grandfather." I can't approve of this placement. Everybody was mad at me. Everybody was mad at me. Mother, her stupid, and that's the thing. Trying to be cool. Judge was mad at me. Judge is like, well, we ain't gonna wait this whole time. We ain't gonna put them on these services. We don't think we need is a negative drug test when we placing the child back. Boys chasing with her father. I'm like, all right, judge, you the judge, nigga. Like, do what you want to do. Y'all, I ain't even gonna break it down to y'all. Nigga, he tests positive for every motherfucking test for the next year and a half.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And every time I go, judge looking at me like he know. It's like, you put me here to do my job. I'm doing my job. I can't help it. I do my job well. But the thing is, that little girl was in some fucked up situations because she was staying with her little brother, but the little girl was attacking the older folks. She had some fucked up situations. And the placement that she was when I first got her when she was in Houston, she was in a placement with the mother's friend, which was a exotic dancer, and she used to dress the way it's so much. I'm telling that, like, I know I keep in touch. Well, I don't keep in touch. They don't know I keep tabs on all my kids, man. But like, she's trying to transition into a male now. And it's just so much she's been in her life, man. She is.
I can see that.
Yeah, it is. Cause what she is, she probably 16, 17 now. But when I tell y'all, it's been a journey. But the thing is, the way I get all of the 16-year, the older brother, the younger brother was good. He was with fam. He got taken care of. I was in his case for maybe 3-4 months. But with the brother, he was one of those teenage, little skinny, light-skinned cat, mix. Try to act hard. Boy, I was like, man, if I hit you in your chest, I cave your whole life in, man. But it was like, relax. And I used to finally got him a volunteer. I used to tell people the main thing he needed is just a hug. And when I first met him, he was like, I remember I'll never forget. He came to him. He was like in this placement near Austin. Let's say Pflugerville. But he was way out there because when these teenagers get in so much trouble, they get moved further out. Okay. Because guess what, the teen, when they place, I didn't even talk about the placements. You have relative, you have fictive kin, which is like a godparent, neighbor, someone they knew before they came into care. You have the foster, and you have foster to adopt, and then you have residential treatment facilities or residential treatment centers, which is like the group homes. Well, you have group homes and you have the campuses for the kids. He was drinking, smoking, fucking. So he had a level of care, and that level of care used to be basic, moderate, specialized, and intense. And I heard they added another one, and the levels of care are, if I put it simply, is the behaviors of the kids or the type of needs these kids needs in these placements, and how much these kids are worth, how much they get paid, how much the caregivers get paid based off those levels too. All right. Well, see, once again, this is I see we at hour and 45 now. This ain't no. That's why I'm doing a series about this. This ain't no just 1, 2, 3 type thing.
Right.
The thing is,
Oh,
he was a specialized child with all those behaviors, and he was getting in trouble, fighting, tearing up stuff, running away, all those type of things. So they had to place him all the way out there. And guess who got to go see him? Okay. But I was at Costa, so I'm like, I go see him every quarterly. But I told him, like, I'm going to go see you for the first 3 months. I don't have to see you 3 months in a row, but I'm going to do it for you so we can build that relationship. But when I first met him, I was waiting for him to come out. I got to think of a name for all these kids. I got so many different ones. Let's call him Stacy. Man, Stacy came and sit down. He said, "Oh, so you Mr. Drake?" I'm like, "Oh, motherfuckers know about me." I'm like, "I'm a guy like that now." I'm like, "Okay, what's up? What's happening with you, man?" And I like, we'll talk like that. He didn't want to talk. I like, you ain't got to say. And I said, "You ain't got to say shit." Like, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm here to do. And when I used to train people, I used to say, when you say hello, you say goodbye in that same conversation. Okay, I'm gonna be here for this amount of time in your life. All right. This is my responsibility. This is what I'm here to do. This is how we go have a communication. I'm yes sir, no sir. I'm yes ma'am, no ma'am. You can play that with other people, but you ain't gonna do that with me. All right. And hopefully my goal, we keep this relationship. We keep that. I'm like that. Okay. Everybody else ain't like that. Some people, I'm up here in Seattle, whatever, they're like, "Oh, this is Brandon." This is who? No, I'm Mr. Drake. Don't get the shit twisted with no 5-year-old calling me by my first name. All right. This is how these are my morals, and I respect y'all's. Y'all can respect mine. Okay. That's simple as it is. I'm not stepping on, but that's how we operate. Long story short, when I went to go, we talked. I talked to him majority of the time, first time, and I told him this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep my word. When I showed up that second time, he like, "Oh, you really show up?" I brought him something to eat. We chopped it up. He opened up a little bit. When I showed up that third time, and I made sure to have hey, do you know your attorney? Do you know your people? Do you know your family? Do you have do you know get in touch when something happening? I'm preparing him for life right now. Within just 3, nobody's talking to him like this. Okay. By the fourth time when I told him I'm gonna be out, every 3 months, it's gonna be a few months out. He calling me now. I don't have to chase him no more because we built a relationship. It's the same thing with parents too. It's just like you have to communicate with people. Communication, respect, and consistency, the pillars. But when I say the hardest thing, when he ended up throwing a brick in one of the counselors' placements there, they worked with him through everything else until he started wilding out, damaging their personal vehicles. But they moved him back to Houston. Well, he actually got locked up, and he ended up going to, I forgot the name of the off Chimney Rock for a little bit. But I remember he ran away. He was AWOL. And his mother found out, like, basically he told him he was AWOL. He was on his side of town. He was staying with some girl or something like that. And he was at the grocery store. He ran into his father. And he was like, he knew who's there. He like, "Man, daddy, hey, I need someone to stay, CPS tripping, blah, blah, mama is not trying to care for me." He was like, the daddy told him, like, "Nigga, you ain't my motherfucking problem. Fuck on."
Oh, wow.
That shit fucked me up, man. Because you can tell he's acting out because once again he's not getting that love that he needed at home. And once again, it was like he was so much older. He was like maybe 16, 17, and the judge, he's trying to argue with the judge, and you trying to tell him to shut your. He wanted. That's what we see people do toxic behaviors and problematic or abusive behaviors because they never received that love and affection as a child. And you see it, and they come out in adult forms and ways because they're still a child inside of themselves, not trying to be therapeutic with nothing, because at the end of the day, don't try that shit with me. But the case is, it's hard because, man, I see it happening. I see that any relationship he's going to be in his future, he's going to love hard and he's going to hurt people.
Yep.
He doesn't know what true love is. This is what he knows as love: abandonment, disappointment, abuse.
Yep.
I remember he got into his mother, seeing him break down, all this stuff. Saying the only thing that really make him break down and cry is his parents. His mother one time, I was putting his mama still wanted business. His mama wanted all these things. Mama was getting all these benefits and all that. because her right, we never terminated her rights and stuff. Guess who put it on child support? I put the bitch on child support. Okay, he didn't have nothing to do with it because he still had needs. Because he's still in the place. We put him in a different place. Well, I put men and women on child support. And if you're somebody to take care of your child, guess what you still need to do? You out here while we see you going on trips and vacations, you going to Schlitterbahn and shit.
Oh.
No, you go take care of him. He needs you. And but when she found out, we put on, you know, instead of coming to us in court, she went to him and cussed him out. Sick.
Mm.
And
Oof.
last time I saw him, I was really hurt because he was really on some fuck shit. He was just I could tell he started using something. He was so his arms about the size of my two fingers, man. And it was just like you really, and it's hard because I got numerous kids that I don't know what I could have done at the time in their life to really change the damage that their family put on them. That's the hard part, you know. That's the hard part.
That was gonna be my next statement. Like talking about all of this damage, is it possible to bring them back? Yeah,
I got several kids that one of them, you probably seen him on TikTok. He hops on all the time. He's still my mentee. He's about to graduate from college soon. I got one girl. I got some of the girls I've been with are doing exceptionally well, you know. But yeah, man, the ones that are successful, the ones that you can return back to their families and everything happy, you don't got to hear shit back from them again. Those are the wins that it make it all worth it, you know. When I saw my mentee walk across the stage, graduate from high school, man, I was in his life since he was 11 years old. Okay. And once again, I've seen him go through a lot. I've seen his brothers go through a lot. I've seen his, I've seen them not as be successful. Nowhere near there. You know, it's not. And when I say success, is like when you make options for yourself, when you can do what you want to do. You're not incarcerated. When you're not being stuck in a certain position in life that you are forced to, that you have to regret every day. That's what I look at as success for these kids. But man, seeing those things of these kids, oh man, I ain't going about this kid. When I first got his case, on the sticky note, it said prepare to volunteer for this child to die. Well, for this child to pass in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm like, what? I'm like, who the fuck go prepare me? I had to prepare somebody else. Like, I ain't ready for that either. I've never had a kid die while I worked the case. But the type of abuse is the neglect was so severe. Now, this is a media case. This is something that you can Google and it'll pop up. You know, that's how, like, this is a big Houston case. All right. And once again, you can't talk, you know, it's confidentiality. And even people are like, man, y'all hear about this, and people. I'm like, motherfucker, if you only knew all the shit that I knew. But man, I'm gonna give y'all the fast forward. This child was supposed to die, had all these special needs, had a helmet on, eyes, couldn't speak, couldn't talk at the age of like 4. You know.
Wow.
Like all this stuff. And let me, like, when I say, you know, what the Lord can do, you know, talk about a testimony. This baby here, I'll never forget. This is like maybe a year and a half into it. I take that he was 5 when all this he's going through. Couldn't talk, couldn't speak. Like once again, supposed to pass, was having you know, cardiac failure and all that, cardiac arrest. But about a year and a half into the case, maybe 2, because I had my volunteer visit monthly. I visit quarterly, and this is one of he got moved out to Katy. I go out and do the visit, and he in his new foster home. I know the volunteer. He always kept me up to date how well. He didn't tell me everything. He like, but he said, I kept saying he kept saying we got a surprise for you. So I went out there, man, and I still got the pictures on my phone to this day. But I went in there, and the foster parents, they had other kids, older kids and all that. They hi, hello. And when, like, I was looking around and she was there like, hey, I got to think of a name. Hey, Dylan. Say hello to Mr. Drake. He turned around and said, hello, Mr. Drake, and started talking to me. Man, nigga, I was like, whoa. I had to walk out the house. Guy, like, he's talking normally, like no speech impediment, nothing. I've seen him like going healthy. Long story short, this case was going on. This case was open like 8 years. Okay, crazy case, had a lot of Mexican gang activity involved in it, and it was some wild stuff. But man, when I tell you this child is playing the violin, he stopped all special need classes. He's in middle school. Completely different. Like, and I just remember, I just think about a sticky note, like just a little sticky note saying, "Hey, this child was supposed to make it," and look at him today. You know. So I also say this work here, it's extremely rewarding. It's a heavy toll. Heavy toll. It's a lot of emotional work, and seeing Black people, and we need more. We have a lot of Black caseworkers, but we need Black caseworkers to actually, to care. We need more Black men to volunteer to do this work. We need a lot. Yes. That's why I always put the burden on us, man, because you don't see us. We're the rarity in this thing, Yep. And trust me, as Anika Pink said, sometimes it's like it may not be the best for us because you will hear some shit that make you want to snap. Like it's like, and it's real difficult to have that type of balance. Because even with me, I had to stop doing CPS because I couldn't move my neck sometime at work. I get so stiff. Like I'm telling you, I would lock up at work. I'd be so stressed out. That's how bad it became. So I had to leave the state for my own best interest. I had to put my mask on to care for me. And when I went over to CASA, hell, I had to move from going in the courts. I ended up getting to with the judge like bad. He threatened to hold me in contempt. And I like, nigga, do what you got to do. Like I'm telling you, I'm giving you the facts. I ain't giving you the fiction. You the judge. He was trying to get me to say something. He was one of the if you saw what's the old boy, what's the Hot Wheels, what's his
Greg Abbott, Paxton.
Greg Abbott. He was on the stage with Greg Abbott when Beto came on. He like that's how close they are. They tight like that. And my thing is, once again, with some judges, don't get me to change my recommendation. Just disagree with my recommendation and make your ruling. And that's what I told him in his court. Motherfucker, I don't have to change. You're not going to bully me to change my recommendation because they're going to make you look good just saying, well, CASA agreed with it. No, we didn't. And that's when I kind of came to the point with my organization because it became political. That bureaucratic behavior became that. And I'm like, fuck all this. If I ain't doing it for the kids, I don't want to do it. And when I'm doing this in the best interest, I'm not lying about anything. I'm not only presenting the truth, I'm presenting the facts behind it. Y'all can do with it what you want. And that was my thing. And when money get involved, even with nonprofits, shit get a little sticky, get a little different,
Yep. You're right. You're right. As I told you before, we have one of our co-hosts that is looking to foster. So that would be Nika Pinks. And so how do you even start that process to even getting there?
What state are you in, Nika?
Oh, I'm here in Texas.
Okay. It depends what county you're in. I suggest do CASA first. That's what I would suggest. Like, are you trying to foster or are you trying to foster to adopt?
You know what? I said foster is kind of what I was looking into, but I don't know. It just depends on the situation. I want to be there, get them, help them change their lives and things like that. And
I'm getting your business for a little bit. You got kids?
Mm-hmm.
Married?
Mm-mm.
All right. Your kids, everything good with your kids? Everything stable? Are they in high school, middle school, elementary?
One off to college, one middle school, and one elementary school.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. What age you thinking about fostering? These are questions they're gonna ask you too.
Probably like 8 and up.
8 and up. Okay. All right. The reason I'm asking all these questions: are you stable now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mentally or financially?
Oh, that's when I did. Hey, DA, that's when I said I made it very.
DA?
Hey, DA's he's touching on it though. That's what I'm saying. When I say are you stable, mentally, financially, physically, all those things, because when you add, because I've had foster parents, they take some kids in, and sometimes they have good behaviors, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they got good behaviors. Then when it's time to move, you don't want to move. You get too attached.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got you. That's why I asked you have kids. You too. Sometimes your kids, man, like you treat them better than you treat us. You got a lot of things may come up. Are you ready for when them kids come back from a visit and they was supposed to be visiting with their mama and daddy, and their mama and daddy didn't show up? Now you got to deal with that issues and that behavior.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, these are things you deal with.
They go visit and they come back because their mom and daddy did something to them.
Or like with that kid with the mama cussing him out in the parking lot.
Shit.
Yeah.
You gotta take all that back home. Your kids gotta take that back home. You know.
Yeah, that side of it. It's been thought about. I done joined a couple of those support groups just to, find out what kind of stuff is happening. Because of course you don't get all of it until you're actually in it. But I'm trying to prepare myself, and it's something I've been wanting to do. Not something I woke up and was like, I want to foster. It's been something like the last 15 years. I'm like, that's something I want to do, but I finally got to the point where I feel like I'm able to actually provide what's needed.
And I love it. And then I say pray about it. Find you make sure you have your support system. You're gonna need that support system and go into it. But and the reason I say try CASA first, because you get to see what the other side looks like. You get to see what the court hearings look like. You get the experience and see it. You get it because being in the foster parent side, you're gonna have so many questions. What's going on here? Why this happened? Why that happened? And we can't tell you. That's confidential. But but being on that other side as a CASA or a child advocate and things of that nature, you get to I see what's happening here. I see why they laid on the paperwork. I see why court got reset again and again. So that's helpful. But I would say, once again, pray about it, follow your heart, and get into it, because we need more of us as foster parents too.
Because when I get the weekly list through my email, and when I go through there, and I've gone through it with Pinks before, and she was like, "What?" And I'm reading, I'm like, "Yeah, it's like 239 on there this week, and it's this age and this age, and it's really depressing to see."
Don't let me pull up the numbers. Especially just in Harris County. Harris County got the most amount of children in CPS custody in the U.S.
Wow.
And we have the most amount of courts to hear CPS cases as well. The other county that come close to Harris County is Dade County, which is Miami.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And man, when I tell you, it's some wild stuff.
Yeah, Dade County, like the shit they show you on TV, that's just Hollywood. That's the tourist part. They don't take you to the pork and bean projects. They don't take you to Little Haiti. They don't take you
And that's once again why I do everything. The reason why I started Everything Culture, because once again, y'all already heard me say my pillar several times, and the quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that he made at Cornell College years ago. But man, I learned that we don't talk to each other enough, or black people, we silo ourselves too. We feel like, well, black people this and black people, I don't care nothing about black people. Well, shit, you ain't you limited yourself. You truly are. Until we start talking, like I hate when like black people are the worst at this. Who told you that? Like black women don't do this. Only black women put their man on child support. Have you been to court, motherfucker?
That part.
Black men the only one that be abusing women. Have you watched Cops before?
Hello.
Like, do you understand? Like why do we get the brunt of everything negative?
Man,
everything negative. But the thing is, I started doing this not to bring out the negative in other cultures, but just the real and the positive and the real in both. For us to really have that aspect of what it looks like.
What is going on?
Real data.
For us to start having these conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, never think about and talk about in history where things come from. And stop letting these folks or whoever, they, them, whoever, like, well, when I say them, but they, the people, white people, colonizers, we've been told in history was supposed to be true, but Let's
Oh,
really have
he said
conversation.
the C word. Oh.
Oh, it's the truth. Like though, and once again, and
Right.
before this I was having like we started this in 2019 before I even heard of critical race theory. All right, and it stayed growing, but at the same time, even when I've been talking about doing the CPS series for years, because once again, everything how y'all are reacting right here, man, it's so many more people that don't know what's going on, and I can't speak to all of it.
Right.
And I cannot speak to all of it because I haven't seen all sides of it. And once again, it's just my perspective. I'm not right about everything, but when I tell y'all, when I share my stories, it's the truth and it's the accurate truth of what I've seen and what I've had. And man, but at the end of the day, I think everybody knows we need more help. And I tell Black people, it's a lot more things you can do other than talk about Real Housewives or talk about Love and Hip Hop.
Talk about it.
Us fighting, arguing bullshit, who paying for what dinner or not.
Talk about it.
Things you can do in this community that make a significant change in life. But
Talk about it.
And like I said, we feel like we've made it to a point in life we've came too comfortable and the work is nowhere near. We're nowhere near starting the work that need to be done, and we're already kicking our legs up.
Talk about it, and it seemed like that shit getting reversed, and right in front of our face.
That's exactly.
Right in front of our face.
That's why I tell people who do that Roe versus Wade shit, man. If they should they reverse that.
It's the begin. That's the beginning.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Like
that was a test. That was a test.
Yeah.
Other people see it. Other people see it while we ain't paying attention to it. And the thing is,
you got all these people who said if you ain't voting this time, you a fool.
And let me say that right there too. If we really want to get involved in CPS and make changes, if you don't like CPS's do, you better start voting. These
it's
judges,
not, but see what you say? I think you finished hit on what I was about to say.
These judges, they are voted, they're elected.
Facts.
Okay. And the thing is, in Houston, look it up once again, man. Some of these judges I was cool with, and they showed their colors after they lost it. They had a swing vote when we really got out and voted. And I don't know if y'all seen the picture of all those Black women.
Yep.
That's in Houston. That's Harris County.
Oh wow.
No, I know several of them very well. That's going to be on the show. All right. The thing was when they shifted. And Black people want to vote. The thing in Houston, they changed it. You can't vote down the line anymore. You have to vote. You just can't click Democrat or Republican all down the line anymore.
You got to go by name.
You got to go by name. And you got to go just individual. It'll say Democrat or Republican or Libertarian or whatever. But you have to make sure you can't just click and go.
Ticket anymore.
Yeah,
because you can't go straight. Because them motherfuckers was pissed the fuck off. They were mad as shit. Now some of them judges I really like. Some of them. I hated the shit out of them. Okay, they needed to go but people just knew like, hey, what click you with is what you go roll with, but that made a significant change. They said they haven't been a change from Republican to Democrat judges since 1993. So no folks are sitting on that just consistently continue. People just vote for them, but it just took us to use our power, our voting power, which we used to be murdered and killed for. You understand what important voting is, and to make that change. If you want to change child support and all that, you better pick what judges what your judge represent. If you want to change things about us, what your judge represent. That's the biggest thing, and it's so local. If you don't see any judges that like what you see and doing it, find somebody, or you go run your damn self.
Talk to them.
That's why I said the main reason why Greg Abbott got elected in the first place is because he used to run everybody child support.
Correct. What's the guy? Was it the DA or the attorney general? That's why I used to see him in court all the time. Yeah, he used to be right down there, right off Congress. All right.
Yep. So I remember every Black girl was like, "I'm voting for Abbott. If he did my child support, I already know. I remember." A whole lot of Black people voted for Greg Abbott when he first got in.
But we don't.
And now they regretting that shit.
But we have to start paying attention to what we support. It's like what you put in your body. You gotta start paying attention to that. Once you see that, you should start to make some changes. But honestly, when we change things, we really have to get out there and vote. And I used to talk to my partners, and they didn't want to vote. I'm like, boy, you crazy.
Yeah.
No,
You
I
be
wouldn't
surprised
even if you were a Republican.
still
I'm
don't
sorry,
want
go
to
ahead,
vote.
Tika.
Yeah,
What you
either
say?
way, you still need to vote for what you believe in.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
I don't vote. I never voted straight ticket.
I
Never.
just to the point now. I think they just got too comfortable. I feel like every Republican needs to get kicked out because they got too comfortable. They just out there just doing stuff because they know they solidified. And like ain't nobody gonna kick me out, so they just doing whatever. Like they're not being held accountable for their actions.
It's the same thing.
Nope.
Let me tell you, it's the same thing with some Democrats too, though.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'd rather remove the whole two-party system. That's
Yeah.
my thing. And start voting for individuals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm not in the game, you know. So I'm like, hey, the point is, like, what are you doing to really help the people out?
That's exactly. If you're not in there to help people, if you're there to get a paycheck or do
A
some
fat
kind of
paycheck at that. A fat paycheck.
yeah. If you because most of them are in there to swindle people.
Yeah.
But people want to be. People like to be swindled, to my understanding. In my about to be 36 years of living, I look. If you on TikTok, look at this pink sauce going on right now. Look at it. It's so much going on there. I'm like, people, do y'all think? No. But we've been told time and time
pink
again.
Sauce. What the fuck is that?
Some stuff that a black woman that be showing designer purses and that's people consider pretty, that made us some sauce out her kitchen and is selling out her kitchen. That people, it's some wild stuff. I'm like, y'all.
I saw that like 2 days ago. I saw that like 2 days ago. I was like, I kept seeing sauce and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, putting it in the mail. She melted it out. I like, first of all, you can't put liquid in the mail, man.
Thank you. And they talking about make sure to put in the refrigerator. Somebody pulled it out, the bottle all bloated up, and I'm like, don't do that.
Oh.
But once again, but that just shows like it's a movie. I'm gonna cut my tone, my talk short a little bit. But it's a movie that I tell people to watch. I watched it back in the day and I fell in love with it. Called Idiocracy. And it's about how it's a cute little. I'm gonna try to watch it tonight. It's about how folks started to, people would say lower income, like redneck, hillbilly, have a lot of kids. And the people who go and get a higher education usually have less kids, try to minimize it. And after about 2,000-3,000 years, it flips with the ignorant rule. Then the people who have a little bit more sense, like common sense, goes out. Which I don't think common sense.
Wasn't that a movie about a dude who went back in time or some shit like that?
Yes, the guy got frozen and he went back.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the movie.
That movie's a trip. It's a trip.
And when Trump won,
man,
I was like, if you go back and watch that, like during when Trump was in, I was like, this shit is scary.
Yeah,
because Trump straight up said, I don't like these motherfuckers. Y'all stupid as hell to vote for me. And I know who exactly who will vote for me.
Yeah,
that's wild.
And like, if you watch that movie, it's crazy how you see things and people just do shit just because it's cool or it sound cool.
Yeah.
And when people actually take the time out and research and read things, that's stupid. What? And I've heard I like to read the instructions on stuff. They're like, oh, you bullshit. Why are you reading instructions?
If I was never a honest person, I would probably be a politician because the grift is too easy.
And that's a struggle. And that's a struggle I have as a human being right now. Even as a content creator, I can make content that people eat out my hand right now. But I have a conscience and I have integrity, and I don't want to continue that. I don't want it to continue. I don't want it to continue. Like I could have 100,000-200,000 followers right now. I could bring up some drama, some messy shit. I can bring people along. That's why I slowed up doing my CPS stories, because people the experiences that I've been sharing with y'all. People will be on, oh, what's next? Oh, girl, with this, you're getting the wrong feeling out of it. I'm trying to get you to the point that
right? Yeah,
I'm not trying to entertain y'all. I'm trying to educate y'all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They missed the mark.
Every time.
Right.
Give out money. When I knew we had people still out there giving money out for this election, they crazy as hell.
But if you want to hear some of my stories, TK, go to my playlist. I got CPS tips and I got CPS stories. So my CPS stories, you got a good 2 hours to check out. Leave a comment, share, repost, all that, and I used to get kind of upset when people go through a mass like that. I realize it. These people really are watching all my stuff in detail though. Like, so I couldn't get mad because it's like, it's real.
Yeah. That's it, anybody. Because I used to work at a Section 8 apartment complex. And I used to tell people, I said, it's a different society compared to what we think regular to how they operate regularly. And Section 8 is totally different.
So
the hierarchy is totally different from a regular apartment to Section 8.
I grew up poor. I grew up low income, extremely impoverished. That's the other thing I didn't even touch on. That's the thing with these kids. I've been there. I've been that kid, when I was living in the house for 2 months, almost 3 months with no lights, no water. I didn't know my mama was there.
What?
I was that, hey, mama said not to let nobody. My aunt was coming by my house. Hey, where your mama at? Oh, she done went to the store real quick. Woo, woo, woo. I would go to school. I was taking showers at my best friend's house, when I could. His mama let me in, check on and feed me from time to time. I'll go back out, go back home, sneak through the window, light a candle and shit. After my grandparents passed, my mother went through after my grandparents passed, my brother had to live with my other auntie in Fort Worth. My mother went through a deep depression. I was kind of like, even though I was a child, I was looked at as the man in the house, and she expected me, I can handle my damn self, even though I was 11, 12 years old, So when she went, I didn't know where the fuck she was at for 2 months. I just knew I needed to go to school. I didn't miss one day of school. I was still making good grades, but I was just figuring this shit out on my own. Until my aunt came over, was like, hey, I've been here waiting. I know your mama been gone. My uncle the one that he lived next door and he was the bootlegger, but that's another conversation for another day. But the thing is, all the shit that I know these kids do, and that's survival. I've been poor. I've been middle class. I'm middle up. Like the blessings that I've been put in life, it's beyond amazing and breaking generation curses and shit. So when I have people in my family and other the mentees I have the mentees I have, motherfucker, I don't tell them everything that I've been through, but my uncles and my aunts here and my older cousins that know my story, they're like, this motherfucker been through it.
Yeah. Shit, they treated me different at Section 8 because they knew I'm from the hood. So I'm literally like down the street from the neighborhood. So they over here, they cussed out all the other managers. Pulled out guns on them, whooped their ass. They already knew. It's a whole different understanding with me. They tried that shit first day. I nipped that in the bud first day.
and that's the thing, breaking that, and that's why we're needed in some higher positions to try to connect that growth for us to get to the one level to the other. Because poverty is a system, okay? If I talk about the system that's been created, it's crazy. If I talk about my jobs I had before working at the state, when I worked in pawn shops, when I worked at Renton Center, and I used to tell us, like, hey, the fuck you doing buying this shit? Like, don't get this shit. Get out. Yeah. Oh, no, get on out this. And I'm like, y'all, man, like, I understand we got to do what we got to do sometimes, but sometimes we don't have to do it. Most of the time, we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, because then if you get too good at your job, like I was, I realized they'll think that you a drug dealer. It's crazy. They say
being a capitalist is damn near that. It's like, boy, it's like
I had so many police follow me home when I got off work from Section 8 because they used to ask the apartment manager, "You think he's part of the drug problem?" I'm like, no. He just knows how to talk to these people. But it's because they listen to me and won't listen to palm-colored people, suddenly I need to be a drug dealer.
Well, it's just part of the system. But when I tell you, if you uplifting us, that's a problem. Once again, poverty is meant to keep people down.
Yeah.
And when I worked at the pawn shop, and once again, I got stories for y'all. Like when I used to tell I used to try to extend some of the people in my neighborhood I grew up with, people that knew me personally, knew my auntie and my family, try to extend their pawn so they can get out this shit. Cuss me the fuck out. And then a white palm. I said a white man, my manager come. Hey Drake, you a good kid. You're a real good kid. And that's why we like you. You have a real good heart. And hey, don't stop being that. But you can't help everybody out.
Yeah.
Some people just go
right
be
on that one.
he was
Yeah.
it hurts being told at 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
You can't help your people out.
Yeah. That's a fact.
And because the thing, this woman was pawning, she was putting stuff in the pawn shop and putting shit on the layaway. I was like, ma'am.
What?
Wait.
So she pawning and then
putting other stuff on layaway.
Blind leaving the blind. Baby, what you doing?
Listen.
So the money she got from the pawn, she getting it right back to you.
The way pawn shops work is when you pay on extensions, okay? So if you, let's say you pawn something and they give you $200 for it, okay? Now they give you $200, you got to pay $240 to get out in the next 2 weeks, all right? You ain't got that whole $240, all right? For us to extend that pawn, you got to pay us $20 until you get that whole $240 for it.
So that's
$20 in interest.
So that's $260.
Yeah, that's $260. Then you can't pay the week after that. That's $280. Can't pay the week out of that. That's $300. Can't pay the week after that. There's $320.
Wow.
So I was like, let me extend your pawn a little bit so you can save your money as you get that whole drop that $240 and get your shit out like that. Nigga, God, don't ever. I'm talking about cuss me out, made a scene. Don't ever be in my business. I'm grown. I don't need to take no advice from you. What?
I'm trying to help you out, Craig.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the mindset. And when they told that, and when this white man said, "Hey, they go give their money to somebody. Why not me?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that man. I be saying that about the like the liquor stores and shit. I be like, you go in there, they talk crazy to you, and you still hand them your money. I'm like, I don't understand that.
I can't do it.
I mean,
I won't buy a lottery ticket from your ass. You talk crazy to me.
If I knew how to, which I can stop making excuses right now today and do it. If I was back in Texas, because you don't have that many problems. But why don't we own nail salons?
Hello, talk to me. I've been saying that nail salons, hair, the beauty supply store.
I understand our hair for the hair. It's hard to get in the hair process because it's really monopolized. But beauty, like nails, and I've seen a lot of black women do nails, and like, why don't we start that for ourselves?
Yeah, a lot of them don't know. Let's just be honest. A lot of people don't know how to work with people.
Now that's the conversation right there. But that's the question. Like, we got so much talent. Why don't we? If we talk about I keep hearing black people want to. We need desegregation is the worst thing we ever had. Shit, it's just illegal. I mean, it's just illegal to do. You still can do it if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Hell, we still have Detroit, which is majority black.
Yeah,
it's not
they do. I mean, they do. I mean, they won't let you in on the hair stuff. I mean, they do a monopoly on the hair business. They won't let the black people in. It is what it is.
If we do natural hair, we ain't got to worry about that shit no more.
That's what I'm about to say. You know how you kill that? You kill that. Stop doing it. Stop buying that shit.
It's because we came a long way where I fight when I'm in HR and I fight for black women to wear their natural hair. If they want to wear a wrap to their job, all these type of things, and it's happening. So now we got that opportunity to do so. Look how we can. The game is changing.
Yeah.
Do you want the game to change?
Yeah.
And now that people are going natural, hey, it's starting. You see, they quit putting them black beauty supplies under security. They finally let them free because more people going natural. They don't
I
need
can
to
go to Amazon, order a shitload of shea butter right now, and like, they don't, like, I haven't seen one loctician yet that's white or a different ethnicity.
Hey, hello.
I like my thing is y'all tell me something y'all seen it. I haven't
seen it.
I
haven't seen one natural. It's so many ways we can put that money back in our pocket. We stop chasing the things they make us chase.
Hello.
That's why after we do the CPS series, we're doing a series on beauty. What are the standards?
Yeah, we getting off subject.
I know.
We got to turn left.
That we all right. We tend to because that's just real though.
Yeah, we're going left. That's gonna be another show you got to come back on.
But let me pull it, and I'll pull it back together. the main thing I'm getting on, if we want to continue to build in the community, we have to build in the community. We have to support. We have to go back to that village. Everyone here, do you know your neighbors?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm loud.
Okay. Just like if you know your neighbors, they know you. If your house catch on fire, they're not scared to call 911. If you feel like you can your kids know Mr. So-and-so down the street or Miss So-and-so, the family and things of that nature, that's good. It goes to relationship. Be careful who you lay with.
Yep.
I just have to keep it a buck with y'all because I see a lot of drama come from people fucking with people they don't like and have a baby with people they don't like.
That's why all these divorces happen during COVID.
Shit, not even divorces. Shit, just the majority of the time when child abuse happens is during the summer. Is when kids are home with their parents.
Kids at home. Yep. And COVID has been had really hot since COVID. When COVID started, me and all my old coworkers call like, this shit about to get real ugly, right? They're like, we know. Yeah.
Because
and it did.
And it did. But we have to continue to support one another. Hey, if you pilot whatever, do your thing, but make sure you have an understanding within a relationship when you bring kids into it. But when stop calling the police for everything. I've had a lot of cases for that, but I understand when you have to, but try to work it out. Try to have an understand and try to please lean on communication, respect, and consistency with one another. Try to listen, try to have empathy. If you don't know what empathy means, Google it. We have resources for that. And I think we can have a lot of growth in our community. A lot of people say, they hate CPS. So I want to start thinking, if CPS wasn't involved, what would you have in place? If we could create something on our own, what would it look like?
Yeah.
To protect children, protect families, protect women, protect men.
Yeah. Because some of them, let's just be honest, some of y'all are terrible parents.
Ooh.
And some would tell you, I know.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When they tell you, I know. And because on the other end, we have people that are like, these are conversations that's been had. Okay, it's been years since I've been that making sure when a person have a certain amount of children that's in CPS custody, but they'll go ahead and desensitize when you can sterilize them.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. That is removing the opportunity for someone to continue to have a child. If a man had at least 3-4 children, okay, it'd be put on the government can control, like, hey, you have to sterilize yourself. A woman have to get her tubes tied after a certain amount of time. These are discussions being had. Seriously. Being had.
Yeah. It's strategic in it.
It's a reason. And guess who they go do it to?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's a reason behind it.
That's how I say, and it's a bigger picture. Every time we think of it like this, it's such a bigger picture behind it.
Yeah, never think small because it's always a bigger play.
Somebody came and got TK. The people done came and got her.
Okay, she back.
Oh,
and that's what I say. I'm just gonna stop right there because I gotta eat.
I feed. Because we be trying not to eat late, but we still, I think, end up eating late. But I did eat before the show started, though. Salad. I did. I had a good old salad. So yeah. But one of the things I actually want to commend you about that you mentioned, which is a definite shortage, is that you mentor boys. I know this was something me and Pinks have talked about before because I registered, did all the classes and stuff to get a big brother, big sister for my niece as well as my son. And my niece got one like this, no problem. It's going on 4 years and my son still hasn't gotten a big brother because there's not enough Black men that are signing up and volunteering to be that.
Oh, I know. I've been talking about this with my church too. Even it's all around. So once again, I talk to my fellas. I talk to men. Some, no, I ain't gonna lie. Some men I talk to, I sometimes I step back. Yeah, you don't need to mentor a damn thing. But yeah, I do talk to my guys. Like, hey, we do need this. But I'm one of those individuals that talk about it, be about it. So, only way I can continue to lead other men into mentoring is to continue doing it myself.
That's what's up. Definitely you got to be an example. Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying the church folks say? You gotta be a blessing.
You gotta be a blessing to get a blessing. I just made it up. I don't know.
I'm a heathen. I'm the wrong person to even know that.
Don't even try. Don't try to fill it in. Don't
I know I know a couple of my frat brothers. They volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, so they do
okay.
You know, and they read the kids, so but.
Look at my old ass. I did not know we had all these comments going on the side.
Bless
Hello, Francine. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
We ain't gonna tell nobody.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. I mean,
most def. So we'll go ahead and close out because I don't want Drake's stomach to start growling on the screen, or DA because he ain't actually said he hungry yet. So I'm scared because normally
Well, normally I like
before the show and nothing like that.
Hey, well, that ain't gonna happen because I'm back on regular time. I'm not in Korea no more, so it's nighttime for me. I don't eat past certain times.
Okay, amen. Well,
but tonight I might get me a goddamn pizza
though. Don't make me go there with you.
Man, shit, I'm hungry.
Because I know that ain't what you supposed to be eating.
Anyway.
Well, I just got to say, I really appreciate being on here with y'all tonight. This has absolutely been a pleasure. As y'all can see, I can talk, and I'm glad I would say if I already know I talk a lot. So I made sure when I talk, at least I know what I'm talking about. So, and if y'all want to look at anything in detail, we will be having some episodes in the future that we will be inviting judges and attorneys, previous and current CPS caseworkers, parents that actually fostered children before. So like foster parents, relatives, caregivers, and things of that nature. We're going to have parents that had dealt with CPS before in their life, either if they have lost their children to the custody of the state or regained custody back of the children. And then we're going to have a conversation with adults that were in CPS themselves, no matter the amount of time they were in. We want to get all perspectives as much as possible. So if y'all have any questions for us or any thoughts or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to me. Once again, I'm Drake or Mr. D713 with Everything Culture. You can find us. You can listen to us watch us on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, almost anywhere you listen to a podcast. We're there. You can go to our website at everythingculture.com. Once again, it's Everything Culture. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, IG, Tumblr, Facebook, almost on all the socials. We're there. But once again, this has been an absolute pleasure.
That's what's up. Now that's an outro. See, he already hit his outro. That's how you know he's hungry too. That's what's up. Marcellus, you want to hit your outro?
Sir, you're very informative. Thank y'all for having me. Always a pleasure being here. I didn't have too many jokes because this was a serious matter, and I do love the kids, and I am leaving now.
Woo, DA.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So my shit, this shit stuff acting up. It was a deep conversation, and like we just scratched the surface. We really didn't go deep into it. And the title is fitting for what we're talking about, because we tend to forget that because we had a normal life or has had a rough-ish life, we tend to forget that there's folks out there who are in worse situations than us. We tend to overlook that, or we get to a certain point and we don't look back at the individuals coming behind us that are going through something like that. So yeah, I really appreciate the information. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. I mean, I knew the CPS case, and I dealt with them and everything, but I didn't know the other side, which is kind of threw me off because I had a whole bunch of questions and statements. But once I started listening, I was like, let me shut the hell up and just let it ride. But so yeah, again, I appreciate you coming on, Drake. Not the other Drake, not the R&B Drake, but yeah. So that's all I got.
Thanks.
Yeah, short and sweet. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing information. It was well received, very knowledgeable, and just look forward to joining, paying attention to what you got going on and with everything culture and just being informed. And we'll see where my journey goes. Never know. But again, thank you for being here. Marcellus, as always, thank you for being here as well, supporting TK's Chronicles of a Black Sheep. We love y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, of course, Drake, for coming on, man. Even with the knowledge and information and being have worked with CPS before, man, you dropped some totally different gems. You've given and shown a different side to the whole thing, because I didn't even know I would see the signs of CASA, and I've thought about being an advocate, some years before, even recently, passing the one that they just built down the street, and I was like, and I was like, yeah, it's crossed my mind, but now you really hit just, man, like really, was like you done pulled up the blinds, like here it is, and really like showed, this is what this is. This is what this is. Oh, like you hit it. And anybody that can keep DA quiet and he ain't got a ton of questions, boy, you are phenomenal, baby. Woo, you are phenomenal. Cause him, he can make you drink sometime. But yeah, you can keep him quiet, which you pretty much did on tonight. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Very informative. We definitely thank you for that, because Pink's got something to think about. She got some information that she didn't have before. So man, that's great. Anybody else, like, if y'all see anything and it's bad, man, don't I don't even want to say it's bad. Don't even, if you can, not even allow it to get bad. But if you see something, man, make that phone call. Like, I know it's a lot going on. Gas is high. Lord is high. Food is high as hell. Everything is going up. Like, we know it's a lot of stresses going on, but the babies are innocent in this stuff. Like, don't beat the babies, Lord. Please don't beat the babies. Just hug them real snug, but don't beat the babies. That didn't mean a headlock either. That just means just hug them just a little, just a little tighter. But yeah, and everything. Even if you're a child care worker, you see some stuff that ain't going on, stuff ain't right. Shit, call licensing. Like Drake said, you can do stuff anonymously, but don't be no bitch ass and be doing no petty stuff and just calling on people because you don't like them and nothing like that. Don't waste people's time, because it is. CPS got a high turnover. It is, man. Don't be wasting people's time. People working. That unnecessary call is something that you taking away from that person's family. So let's not do that. And you put
that energy could go to another kid.
Man, I'm saying, like, don't let's not do that. Let's not be petty. Be petty with some stuff, but don't be petty with when you're dealing with kids and people's lives and stuff like that. Like, don't do that. That's bad business. But again, we thank y'all for everybody that tuned in tonight, that supported. I can guarantee you pretty much Drake gonna be back, because I done wrote down some notes already on a couple of episodes. This is public service announcement. Yeah. So
I love to have y'all on Everything Culture. Y'all, we got to come through. Collaboration.
Let us know. We love to collaborate with our fam, and you fam now. So hey, let us know when, and we there. We got you. Point blank. Period. You know, I be catching you on the lives when you on and stuff like that, and say, man, you like music like I like music, so we in there. So we good. But next week the topic, we ain't got the title yet, but it's going to be just as probably deep. It's gonna be it's gonna be equally deep to this one. I ain't gonna even lie to you. It's gonna be serious. We're gonna go ahead and put that public service announcement up now, trigger warning. But it's a conversation that definitely needs to be had, especially because we're seeing so much in social media, and I don't even want to say the dudes don't realize what they do, but that's what I'm gonna say, or how they operate, and it ain't good the way you operate. And so we have one of our life coaches / relationship gurus coming on next week to talk about it, and it's gonna be thick, it's gonna be heavy, and it's gonna be real. So I just hope y'all come in, go and get your popcorn, get your drink, get your tissue, your good blanket if you need it. Turn the air down a little about 65 and kick it and get comfortable, because it's gonna be real. Like it's gonna be real. Our next couple of topics is gonna be pretty thick, honestly, but they're gonna be good, and it's gonna be needed. Y'all know we don't hold nothing. We throw punches and give it to you raw, and this is gonna be as raw as it's gonna get. But thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next week. Much love as always. Be safe, stay hydrated. Don't drive too much because gas high, and you might want to start eating some salad, because chicken, I paid $16 for a damn pack of chicken this week. I'm not a happy damn camper, but I ain't gonna, all right. So till next week, same time, next back channel.